Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. Welcome to episode 291 of Defining Duke and Xbox podcast. Today, I'm joined by the aptly named Lord Cognito. How are you doing today, good sir? Oh, he's got the shirt on. I didn't even notice. Okay, he's ready. He's ready.
You know I'm ready. I'm ready, baby. It's what we do. It's what we do.
Yes,
Ready,
sir.
man. Good to be back in the realm of the Dukes. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff going on. We're in gamescom prep mode for the Lord.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's our first one. And shout out to everyone who's been giving me a lot of Germany tips. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Shout out to the homie Jason. Shout out to the homie Teddy. Just the Germany regulars. My boy Killer Demons, he's going out there, content creator. So helpful because this is overwhelming. It's actually
A lot.
I would say it's more overwhelming than playing for Tokyo because Tokyo was big, but it's more than I anticipated. So I'm just getting my feet wet and stuff like that.
Sure.
Obviously, I'm still in the content cycle. Obviously, my health is well, sleep stages not been the greatest.
Not anymore.
I was doing good, fell off the wagon. Doing good, fell off the wagon. So this is
something about when content goes up, that sleep down it goes. Yeah,
down it goes. Because you're like, you got to get it done, right? You got to get it done, and it's just So I'm just in that pocket, man, just trying to get through it. And I am looking forward though for a little my little goal at the end of the finish line, this temporary week finish line, is Virginia Beach. This will be the weekend.
Ooh.
I get to go little weekend getaway, just get my mind right. Shout out to our homie P, the bestie. And he'd be out there, show me around, because now that he's moved, he settled down there, he got to be working for the Coast Guard, Big Coast Guard guy now all of a sudden. So I get to see it in the summer. When I helped him move down in the winter, now I get to see what it really is like. So I'm excited, man. Get to see what's going on. So shout out there. Hopefully I run into a couple of people, a couple of our homies that are out there, VB, Norfolk crew, you know what I'm saying? So
probably Astro Parrot, because he seems to be everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's flying everywhere. Shout out to the homie Billy the Brewer. You know what I'm saying? I definitely got to pull up on him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it should be fun. It is a needed getaway just mentally for the last week and a half of just nonstop. But how you been, man?
Pretty good. Yeah, like you mentioned, the content cycle. It's been pretty good. All things considered, it's been pretty manageable for me. It's been the game dev side of things where it's just it's 2 full-time jobs, dude. Like it really is. Like
straight up.
I finished my stream last night. I put in my full day. I finished at a time I was pretty happy with, 7. That's good for me. Yeah. But then an hour later, I had a meeting with my art director, and we were doing design stuff, and that was 5 hours, and I was up till 2 a.m. So, yeah. The movement is more important than ever, man. I've been doing mobility exercises. I've been staying moving. I actually so this past weekend, because when my birthday was happening, I was with my wife, and then I was traveling, and schedules weren't aligning. My brother was traveling. I just celebrated my birthday, which happened back in mid-June, with my parents.
Wow.
And so they got me as a gift, because I've been, obviously I love baseball, and it was just a kind of surprise thing. They got me one of those nets where you throw the ball and it kind of bounces back at you.
Oh yeah.
I used to have this as a kid, and I kept saying, I just kept saying around them, I just love to go outside and just throw the ball, I usually go outside when I want to touch grass. It's to go on a walk.
Right.
I've been doing that, jogging for so long now.
Mm-hmm.
Time to add a little layer now. And after a decade of doing this, right? It's time to add a new layer. And I was like, yeah, I'm never going to play baseball, but I would love to just throw the ball, And so they got me this net out of nowhere. I was like, you guys serious? This is awesome. And so we set it up, and I was just this weekend going outside, headphones on.
Nice.
A little bit. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
All right.
Yeah.
Warm it up.
It was good. Yeah.
I was actually some help.
You know what's funny is I was just I know, right? I could sign up and probably make the team.
Make the team.
I was actually looking online to see I know how to throw a baseball, but I mean this is carrying in from when I was a kid. How right are the mechanics? I started to look into kind of the bow draw right? Versus like I used to kind of come low and then up high.
Okay.
But the bow draw felt good, dude. It felt good.
Like
You
that.
know, so I gotta say, it was nice to get out there. A different form of health as well. I mean, I was sweating a lot, but it was also like not even that hot out, so I was getting a different type of movement in. So it's
Nice.
just like throwing because you can. For those who have not seen this net, like there's 3 levels to it. Basically, you throw it low, it's gonna pop up. You chase the ball down.
Mhm.
You throw it straight. It's either gonna, depending on where it lands straight, it'll usually come straight back at you, depending on your
Okay.
range.
Fire.
And then if you throw it up high, it'll hit a ground ball.
Mhm.
It was like being a kid though. Again, I'm gonna be honest with
Yeah.
y'all. It's a little cringe to think about, but like there was moments I was just kind of trying to like hurl it. I was like, let me just fucking like throw this as hard as I can. There was like one time I was like trying to make a jump and play, and I threw it over into my neighbor's lawn. It's so good. I was like, dude, I'm like a 5-year-old out here. This is hilarious. But
This is
it was
dope.
honestly a great time, dude. I loved it. So I'm
That's
excited to
dope.
kind of do that a couple times a week, that sort of thing. That muscle I was talking about, the quadriceps laborum, definitely gets aggravated from that. So because I'm doing better with it, but I'm not fully recovered. Yeah. So the stability and mobility exercise have really helped with that. So we're working on that, but definitely I cannot be acting like DeGrom out there. That's for sure. I realized I threw that ball and I was like, oh, I just aggravated something. I was like, dude, it was so funny. But honestly, it was great. So I've been doing all right, man.
Oh, that's what's up, man. So, shout out to the parents. I like the fact that they know you so well that that would bring you joy. They knew specific, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love when someone's like a keen listener and then they like do something that's super thoughtful. And you be like, yo.
That's my mom for sure. Yeah.
You could tell that was the thoughtful, we gonna take care of our boy gift.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Nice.
it was great to celebrate with them real quickly. Had some Oreo cake afterwards for those who don't know. Oreos, my favorite. Not really health is wealth, and that's for damn sure. I mean, that diet was not health is wealth. It's so funny. I came upstairs last night after finishing work, and I was like, okay, like I made some meals, and I got them healthy in the fridge, and they're sitting there on the table. My wife's like, I got us Chinese food. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. This is great. This is great. I want this actually. So off I went.
Fair enough.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Want to shout out the comment boys and girls last week. Cog, we were spared. We were spared.
I saw the love.
After my begging and pleading, I was like, guys, just 1 week. Just give us a break for 1 week. I was like, oh, man, they're really going to go. No. How about that? Thank you. Seriously, we appreciate it. Very nice to see the kind words. Not like a thing we were exactly asking for. It was to Cog and I, it's like kind of a done deal. Like we're just like, we surrender ourselves to the process. We know those of you who enjoy, you listen and you go on with your life, and we're here for you. And for those who leave comments, we're like, all right, like that's fine. Like we want to have the constructive criticism, but then there's the second wave that comes in, which is like the go fuck yourself bunch, where it's like just like, hey, I hate this guy, man. And so we appreciate all of you. And if you want to support us further, patreon.com/laststandmedia. You can write in. You also get ad-free access to all of our shows. I was just on Summon Sign. I know, Cog, you were just on Summon Sign. Brad and I talked extensively about Halo. We also ranked the top 5 Xbox games. We went year by year from 2001 to 2005.
Oh, I like that.
It was really nice, dude. Getting into that nostalgic bag, because it's so funny when you look at these years. He sent me Metacritic, and year by year you see what was coming out. Bro, it's no wonder we love this platform.
Talk to me, really.
First 5 years. I mean, really, it's Xbox into 360. Like that.
You doing like the history. You doing the chronological. We doing the museum. Okay, I got you.
Like, what was the best game on Xbox in 2001? Halo.
Got it.
Of course. Yeah. But like when you got into 2002 and 3 is easy for me. It's KOTOR. But like you see like how many bangers Xbox was putting out per year. Like 2002 was Jet Set Radio was there. It was incredible, bro. Like there were some amazing years. And it's like, oh, this creative fans for life, dude.
Absolutely.
This consistent delivery right into the 360 gen. What's so funny to see is they got into deep 360 territory and transitioned to Xbox One. That's where you saw it started to really slow. It's so funny. You can see the slowdown, like the drop off, and the burger, fries, and shake really settled in, because what was happening is some years surrounding Halo and Forza and stuff, so many other options, so many more. But as like you got deep into that Xbox, like, because I went through and did 25 years just because I was wanting to be prepared of like in case we go further or whatever.
Yes, sir.
And dude, like just looking at some of like the mid 2010s, I was like, oh my God, like this year was Minecraft console edition, Halo, and Forza. I'm like, if Brad asked me to rank these, I'm like, what am I gonna pick? Like, this is 343 Halo versus Forza Bros. Like, I just can't.
Caught in a pickle.
Yeah, so you could see where the transition.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes.
But also for those who are subscribed to Patreon, I'll be doing a episode with Colin on Sacred Symbols Plus. We're going to talk about digital and physical games. So that'll be a good one.
Gonna have to be a fly on the wall on that. I'll be listening.
You won't have to be a fly. You'll get to listen.
That's true. Of course.
So yeah, of course, patrons, you'll get to check those out. And I know that's been highly requested between both of us. To be clear, I was waiting on Colin's go ahead because I offered to Colin to join the show, not to join the show. Jesus, it's his network, to join his show whenever he was ready. So
nice. No, that's good.
And here we are.
I love those type of discussions. You know what I mean? Obviously, we know the stances of both of you, but this is good.
It's just going to be like a complete clash at this point.
Listen, man, that's why LSM is so dope, right? Because all of us are distinct, and we all have our own thoughts, passions, opinions, but we're respectful, right? And come together just to hear each other out, and that's what more of us need, And I love it because as you get into the show, I've watched your socials, and for one digital bro to a physical, I'm very proud of you.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Yeah, no, seriously, because it takes a lot to take a stance on certain things that I get it. It's tough. We gonna get into. I know the writings. There's a lot of that stuff, for it. But I just like I like what you're doing, how you're handling it, and then obviously, what I'm saying, just be willing to have the conversation, right? And that's what it's all about. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. Listen.
Yeah, because I started off aggressive, and then I realized a lot of physical bros are like hard aggroing, and I'm like, you're not gonna really change people's minds. Like, you got to let them. You can't what is it? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink.
Can't force them to drink.
Yeah, same deal here. So I appreciate that. Well, we'll definitely get into it again. I know a lot of people are probably tired of the topic, but I think it's really important to just keep going back to that well, man. Like, it's just can't let up until there's a clear idea of what this digital future looks like. And certainly the Xbox outage and everything that's happening, we'll get into that. Like, Xbox had it worse. It's like, you guys are going to go digital? You? Mr. 20 hours out? You?
We gonna talk, bro. You was looking at the timing of everything. It felt very prophetic, and I was like, "Talk your talk." I was like, because I saw your tweet. I said, I retweeted it. I was like, "Talk your talk, man. It's you right now." Because it was a reminder, right? Sometimes we get too comfortable, and even as a digital bro, you see like, okay, this is how it could be, right? So hopefully we'll see what happens.
You expect it to improve, of course,
of course,
but definitely a scary reminder, I think.
Absolutely.
Well, we got some write-ins to warm us up a little bit before we get into all of that. Let's start off with Hammer Time 44. He says, "Hey, Dukes, I know this year has been a great year so far, but there's still more to come. What is the current top 5 most anticipated games for the rest of the year or early next year? I've had an extremely busy year, not just in gaming, but also life, so it's been hard to believe it's almost August. Anyway, take care, lads." Thank you, Hammer Time. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Kyle, we don't have to, and we could do top 5 or whatever, but like, what are you generally looking forward to for the rest of the year?
All right. So the most anticipated, it's coming out very soon, is actually Star Wars Zero Company.
Yeah.
I can't get enough. The more I learn about it, the more I love it. You already got me with XCOM, right? Star Wars, I'm a casual, but a big enough IP that fits perfect in the universe. Then they're going, and then I learned who Bit Reactor is. And I'm like, oh, Bit Reactor, are you the beloved? One of like at least 3 members of that team, including the lead, helped design my GOAT. Like, the way you are for KOTOR is the way I am for XCOM, XCOM 2, the Jake Solomon XCOM 2, Award. My man, I believe his name is Greg, I forget his name, whoever's the lead. Or Bit Reactor,
I believe.
Force or something. Yeah. I didn't even know. He followed me. I was like, yo, he knew exactly what
his target audience.
he is like, oh, that's the guy. That's the guy that really be pumping that XCOM. Like, because I always try to preach
all of your Midnight Sun retweets. Yeah. This is all full circle.
Facts. It makes sense. Because I was like, oh, I'm like, how does this man know me at my Midnight Suns? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's super dope. So that is number 1, short term. I would say for this year, Gears, how we will discuss later. You know what I'm saying? Gears is up there for me.
Yeah.
GTA 6 because of the spectacle of it all. I'm not this hardcore GTA guy, but because of who Rockstar is, I need to know. I need to see, it's been a while, and I just need to know if they still got that sauce from the graphical standpoint, from the simulation standpoint. And then if we're leading into early next year, y'all know come on, we know the science on this. A lot of it is going to be Fable. I'm super, super anticipated for
Yeah.
that. Clockwork, you know how I give it up for Clockwork. And then the last two will probably be State of Decay and our Mass Effect bros. Our Mass Effect Sim Exodus, and what's the other one?
The Expanse.
The Expanse, yeah. Exodus and Expanse. So yeah, those are I probably gave you about 8. Those
Yeah.
are on my list, the highest anticipated games for me, for sure. What about
Yeah, for me, I'm right there with you on Star Wars Zero Company.
you?
Huge
Ooh.
amount of excitement for that one. Blood of Dawnwalker
Oh
is probably my most anticipated. It
yeah.
feels like this year, for as great as it has been for me, it is missing that key RPG, and I think this is the one, and I think it'll be exquisite. So I'm very,
Mm.
very excited about that.
Solve's with you on
Um,
that. That's all he talks about is that
yeah,
Blood and Walker.
yeah, I think that's gonna be really, really good. And then the rest of the year, I mean, there's ones like I'm looking to get into, like a Castlevania. Like this new Castlevania game looks really, really good. And I, for those who don't know, have very limited Castlevania experience. So it's one of those things where I'd like to brush up a bit and get into that because I think the game looks great. Final Fantasy Resonance is another one, HD2D meeting Final Fantasy after all this time. It feels like that was the idea initially, was like, hey, we're going to do this thing Octopath Traveler, and we're going to take this art style and like start remaking old Final Fantasy games. To their credit, I'm glad they really didn't do that. The Dragon Quest remakes have been great, but I'm glad that it's mostly been new shit.
Yeah.
Adventures of Elliot was excellent this year, one of my favorite games of the year. Octopath Traveler 2 is one of my favorite JRPGs of all time, and I always argue that the first Octopath Traveler is one of the most impactful JRPGs ever made. So to see finally Final Fantasy getting that is really exciting. So definitely a big one marked on the calendar for me. GTA 6, apparently the rumor is we're going to see more this month. So I would
Ooh.
like to establish my feelings on it. There's been a lot of, I think, the hand waving, like, it'll be fine. Like, marketing will happen and everyone will get hyped. But like, I am still in the kind of earn it phase. I'm not I'm giving it to Rockstar, not because I'm trying to be a pain in the ass. Like, I know they're known for a consistent quality of delivery. But I'm definitely like, I'm the weirder Rockstar fan. Like, I love Bully. Red Dead is
Yeah.
something I value more. GTA,
Yeah. Okay.
minimal experience granted, which is what I'm working on now. That's why I finished GTA 3. I'm going to play Vice City, trying to work on that. But like, GTA is the thing I care the least about from them. And like, 5 didn't leave me with this lasting impression, like, something as a Red Dead did.
Mhm.
So I really I'm just being genuine, people. I am going into like, okay, are they going to pull me in, or am I just going to play these old GTA games, let it rip on Retro Rebound, and kind of play something else in the meantime? I'm going to see what they do for me. Definitely, though, if it appeals to me, yeah, we're making the time for sure. And then, yeah, into the top of next year, it's going to be tough because there's Fable, there's Persona,
Whew.
Expanse, Exodus, Metro looks
Bro.
incredible. Not wait for Metro.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's just like, I mean, again, really good time for
Oh,
games.
yeah. And then
Really good time.
I'm forgetting Final Fantasy VII Revelation. Like, that's
Yeah.
another
Oh
one. It's
man.
like, bro,
Yeah.
it's so much.
That's
It's a
must
good
play.
next year is starting to be crazy already. I could already
Yeah.
see. Yep, for sure. But yeah, and I like your thought process on GTA. I'm literally similar. Like I respect you guys, but I you got to show me. Like, I want to know why the hype,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like the other games, Bully. Shout out to my man Robin Kelly. He loves Bully like
Mm.
you. He's like, that's
That's
the
so
Rockstar I know. I remember Rockstar when they were making the Warriors as a game, as a beat 'em up. I was like, I like the Warriors.
yeah. Yeah. That early era of Rockstar was special.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah,
lot. I mean, a lot of
for sure.
different games. And, Bully was one that I think was like a really good hybrid between like, what they did with GTA while also kind of experimenting in these new ways. And I would have always loved to see a new Bully game, but,
Did you
again,
see
not
that
to go ahead.
that game? You see that game that's kind of like a
Oh,
spiritual
Age Field.
success? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I might have to see what's going on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm interested for sure.
Mhm.
It's definitely like how do I describe it? We can see the budget, and I'm not like,
Yes.
I don't damper down like that, but there's a roughness to it that's not just like, oh, they didn't have a lot of money. It's like, oh, this is like just seemingly coming together. So we'll see. It's apparently coming out in a couple of weeks. So time will tell. But definitely happy to have a Bully successor out there. So it's a good year to drop one. We'll see how that turns out. But definitely very corny, early 90s feels for that game. I don't think it'll reach the heights of Bully, but yeah, GTA is still on the list for sure as an option. I give it a strong likelihood that it'll appeal and I'll play, but you never know, right? If it's just like, oh, okay, like more GTA, it's okay. Like, a lot of people have tried to come to me like, yeah, bro, okay. Like, where are you going to get your views from then? I'm like, do you know what types of games I cover?
Yeah, like, you don't understand.
like, I've been doing RPGs my whole life, dude. Like my GTA is the Fallout games. We learned that just a couple weeks ago. Like my GTA is the Fallout games and Elder Scrolls and Fable. Facts. Like that's my GTA. I know my place. I don't have to cover content on everything.
Respect. Stand on business.
All right, let's keep going, Cog. We got an interesting question here from Party Pooper. He says, hey, fellas, I asked this purely out of curiosity with no animosity whatsoever. Why are people still excited about the future of Bethesda Game Studios? At this point, I see a studio who's passed 4 titles, Elder Scrolls Online, which is not them, to be clear, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Fallout 76, Fallout 4, and Starfield have significantly more negative reception than positive. Their last unanimously praised game was released 15 years ago. This is simply too long for me to think they can do that again with modern expectations. Am I only listening to the haters here? Or do people think there's truly another Fallout 4 quality game that could be a system seller for Xbox? Or is the expectation that Elder Scrolls 6 will be a major step above in quality? While I've played my fair share of Western RPGs and I'm eager to delve deeper into the genre, I've barely touched Elder Scrolls or Fallout. So I say this with a desire to be excited. But should I be? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Best to the both of you. Well, a lot of your perspective, I appreciate your honesty, Party Pooper, because a lot of your perspective is very easy to explain, is that you didn't play their best era. If you go to Morrowind's a little bit of a tough play, I think, for some, but Oblivion to Fallout 3 to Skyrim and into Fallout 4 is a pretty masterful run. I think Fallout 4 has a lot of flaws, but I kind of disagree when people lump it in like, oh, Fallout 4 and 76 in Starfield. I'm like, let's fucking... Look, Fallout 4 has a lot of issues, but I would not put it in the same camp of like the level of flaws that those other games I think have. As someone who's played all their stuff pretty extensively, I think Fallout 4 is great for a lot of things it does, but it definitely betrays the Fallout IP and how it handles role playing, which is a pretty key element. Why are people excited though? I think it's kind of I don't know if it's really excitement about them that you're interpreting. I think it's excitement that there's other people working on the IP that they own, which they have kind of kept to themselves pretty aggressively since the early 2010s, namely Fallout. Elder Scrolls, they did experiment with in ways that were just not exciting. Elder Scrolls Online completely justifies its existence. That's a great video game. But Elder Scrolls Legends, like no one wanted a card game for Elder Scrolls. No one wanted, what's that Blizzard game that's the card game? I mean, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but like no one said, what Elder Scrolls should do after Skyrim? That. Or Blades. No one was like, oh, first person, dungeon crawling, microtransaction pay gated thing. That's what Elder Scrolls should do after Skyrim. Or Elder Scrolls Castles, like way after the success of Fallout Shelters. Now we'll do an Elder Scrolls version of that. No one was asking for that either. So there's been, of course, as you've noted here, Party Pooper, a growing indifference with Bethesda because combining that with things like Shattered Space, the release quality of Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, there's been a decline. So is there the expectation that Elder Scrolls 6 will be a major step in quality? No, but is there an interest in seeing it because they know they need to hit a home run here, not just a ground ball? Yeah, that's the interest, I think. And so that can carry into something like Fallout, but it's definitely like let me walk you through the mindset of the community a little bit. It went from Fallout 4 to, okay, we need more role-playing from Bethesda. And they did 76. And the excuse for Bethesda for a while was like, well, look, it's an online game. This isn't really them working into their strengths. It's not like we're going to wipe it off the board. Right. But at the end of the day, when they get back to that single-player RPG goodness, we'll be back on track too. Don't worry about it. Starfield comes around. Starfield has silent protagonist. It's got a scroll box with dialogue choices. It seemingly has more RPG elements. We're like, oh, Elder Scrolls in space. I think Phil Spencer described it as Oblivion in space. We're like, fuck, like we're gonna land on a planet, explore, find all this stuff, and it was missing a lot of the core pillars that you thought would have been there, like on foot exploration, points of interest everywhere, less procedural content, not way more, an emphasis on choice and consequence that was not there. Like all this stuff that people thought was going to be there that was kind of telegraphed to them ended up not being there. And what you got was literally what you saw at the direct, which is like big open space systems that just have stuff in them. And it was a very disjointed game that had its, definitely its better parts, like the spaceship flying and that sort of stuff. But what happened is now the Bethesda community kind of ran out of excuses. It's like, well, now we want classic Bethesda. And that's what Todd Howard has promised. He says this is more of Elder Scrolls 6 is back to classic style Bethesda game studios. But the problem is also the trust is gone. Now it's like, okay, you're just saying that. Because before Starfield started getting called a cozy game by you guys, you were also saying this is like a return to form for you under a new IP. So what's it going to be? So really the excitement lies in that there is accountability, seemingly, that's visible. There is an excitement that it's not just them touching things named Fallout. And the expectation is you guys know every problem that is in front of you now. You know technologically what the issues are, like as in your amount of loading screens is not tolerable. Like you got to figure that out. Your amount of procedural content is not tolerable. You cannot deliver a game this disjointed and this fake feeling ever again. On top of everything we told you back with Fallout 4. So the question will be, are they listening? And I think most people I've spoken to in the community are more of the mindset of like, we'll get there when we get there. I don't think what you're interpreting is excitement. You're seeing a lot of conversation because they have IP that are really desired. That would be my read, Cog. I'd love to hear from you, though.
No, I hear you, Reed. I like a lot of the points said. Yeah, I think for me, it's more of a return to form, right? It's return to form in the sense of let's go back to what made you, right? And a lot of this other stuff was experimental in other genres. A lot of this other stuff, from a Starfield standpoint, is new IP, right? This is something they had a desire to do this new IP to go into space, right? And for me, even though it really resonated from a main storyline perspective, I think it's one of the best main storyline Bethesda game quests that they've ever done. The fair criticisms is what you said, which is like, what would be considered that core dope loop of that the field of exploration and less procedural stuff and less emptiness on the planet stuff. And that's the faulty the trap of a realistic space game is that there's nothing in these planets for the majority, which is real. So I get that, space combat and all that other stuff. But yeah, good game, but how I would consider it, these are the creators of, always used the Michael Jackson Thriller analogy, right? Michael Jackson's Thriller album is considered the greatest album of all time. That is what like the Elder Scrolls and Fallout represent. Fallout at its peak, this is peak Bethesda. And I think the frustration from the fan base is that when are we going to get the next main line of those, right? Where you're done trying multiplayer, you're done trying mobile, you're co-op and live service, and you did your new IP, you got it out your system, you're still giving people who love that, aka Cog, more. We get more content for the lovers and stuff. But in fairness to the core of Bethesda fans, they want the next Elder Scrolls. And to your point, Party Pooper, how you can tell is when Oblivion Remastered came out with the Shadow...
true.
The sheer overwhelming dominance of the zeitgeist and the love from the base of why we love them so much. Because that represents core sensibilities, pure RPGing, so to speak. And to your point with Fallout, many people say it's a great game, especially with Far Harbor and stuff. But people just like, damn, everything's great, but just the talking protagonist, we just ain't like that part. Let's just get back to the silent protagonist. Let's do all this stuff. So, and then you got the series. So I think what it is you've got this amazing show out, and to Asha Sharma and this current regime's credit, everyone, I think this is why people get mad that people are not as mad about the layoffs, because people like, this is resulting in the return to form from a beloved publisher that everybody wants. So people are like, yes, we want that. We're still sad about what happened with the other things in real life, but this is the right call. So I think that's why, because when they're at their core with an Elder Scrolls 6, a Fallout 5, an Obsidian Fallout, it's very hard not to get excited about those possibilities and them just doing that core what they do. And I think they can do it. I really do. I really think they can do it. So yeah, I think that's why everyone's really excited about these announcements.
Absolutely. Well put. So hopefully that answers your question, Party Pooper. We appreciate you writing in. With that, Cog, are we ready to get into the news a little here?
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Right, cool. Well, let's start off with one of the lead conversations of the week. That was the great Xbox outage. It was accompanied by PlayStation, although theirs was out for a far less amount of time than Xbox. And I will say this, kudos to Xbox for communicating. Good communication on what happened here and what they're trying to do afterwards. There was a lot of press outlets that apparently reached out to PlayStation. No comment on what happened there. And I don't know, man. Like, I'm not really trying to get a fanboy.
We got it. I'm not doing it. It's BS. I just can't do it, man. Like, I'm trying to be respectful. We pay money. All of us, we pay money. I think we deserve answers. That's all I'm saying. I think we deserve an explanation of what happened. That's all. No one's justified, because we still, even with Xbox, right? Mm-hmm. You know, how did this happen, which we will get into. But it's just like, I'm just tired of the excuses, bro. It's getting to me. You know what I'm saying? And normally I try to be more reserved about this stuff. It's just like, we've got to do better about these companies that we are sending our dollars to and pledging to. And it's just a level of respect as a consumer. And I just think that, you know, let's take our fandom out of it, right? Hey, what happened? What's going on? Why can't I get this? Especially when we talk about the digital. So sorry for the outburst. It's just been
bothering. No, it's definitely frustrating that, you know, people are jumping through hoops still. You know, I get it's happening on both ends.
Yes,
but I think definitely there's one side that's licking the boot more than the other. Is how I would. And when I say sides, I mean physical, digital. By the way, to be clear,
correct,
not
correct.
Xbox, PlayStation.
Oh, yeah. You know how to get it.
To be clear,
we don't want that level.
I'm not trying to put a bullet in our episode this early. Give me some time, but like I'm trying to pace us here.
Fair enough.
All right, so the great Xbox outage. What happened here? Well, this is like a 20-hour debacle that if you can go through a massive, I mean, there were quote tweets after quote tweets after quote tweets within the Xbox support thread. And mind you, if this sounds familiar, it's because it kind of is, because people were having launch issues with Halo Campaign Evolved. There were people in our own Defining Duke server that could not launch their game. And this is on the launch. It's, again, very, very strange twist of fate here on the launch of Halo 1, you know, where how accessible it is on let me find it on the rack here.
Oh man, what was that? How did you play it back then?
Yeah, there it is. Just, you know, go ahead and just
oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
It just worked. It just worked.
That's crazy. Right.
No, that's wow.
It's so funny. All right, so here's what Xbox's CTO Scott Van Ville, I believe how you say his name. I might be butchering the last part of his last name, but nonetheless, here's what he said on what's going on with this Xbox outage. He said, earlier today, many players began experiencing issues with sign-in, enumerating their game libraries and playing games. The team has worked hard throughout the day to fix the issue, and we've restored the service as of 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Nonetheless, this is unacceptable as a situation, and we must do better to support you. Over the coming weeks, you'll hear more from me about our services, our platform, and the work we are doing to make Xbox better, and that starts with some transparency about this incident. He says, what happened? Late last night, a licensing service that sits outside of Xbox, but which Xbox depends upon, began failing. This caused some sign-in scenarios to fail, and it caused many scenarios that required an entitlement check to also fail, such as listing out your full library and launching games that you do own. It also affected several of our publishing and store partners who depend on those same systems, which is why some of you saw issues in specific games and not others, which is the crazy part. We're always talking about accessibility of games and, you know, owning them. People couldn't sell stuff, couldn't buy stuff. Crazy. What we did, he writes, on our on-call team, caught the first signals overnight through automated monitoring and declared a major incident. Once we isolated the failing infrastructure, we shifted traffic onto the healthy parts of the system. While the team continued to work towards a root cause, service came back unevenly across regions, which is why some of you recovered hours before others. As for what's next, we're running a full post-incident review. I care less about the one-line root cause and more about the real questions. Why a failure in one service was able to take down this much, why recovery took as long as it did, and why we change what we change so as a single point of failure can't ruin your night again. That means hardening the dependencies underneath sign-in and game launch, improving how we detect and contain this class of failure, and being faster and clearer with you when something breaks. Thank you for your patience and for the reports that genuinely helped us narrow this down. We will do better. Hug, your thoughts on this matter here?
Yeah, man, this is unfortunate, very unfortunate because full disclosure, my background is over 20 plus years in IT. I deal with network outages, I've dealt with server outages. When I was at Meta, I worked a lot on the operational and the enforcement side. And one of the scariest things, let me give people full scope. One of the scariest things is working on the in the inside. You don't know what's going on. You're getting blasted by the entire community that uses your service as to what's happening, and you're scrambling to figure out. So what we would consider this would be considered a Sev 1 issue, so Sev 1 outage affecting multiple services, multiple dependencies. But here's the issue. The issue comes down to, why is the infrastructure dependent on this outside entity for the license, right? And there's probably reasons for it, but it just shows a failure as far as the fail safes. And if that particular dependency goes down, that's external, you're screwed, right? So this is what comes down to now proper planning. And to Scott, the gentleman's credit, him even saying that is a big deal, right? I don't want to minimize that. Like, you don't have to disclose that part, but people are going to come at your neck. It's like, bro, I'm paying for this service. What is going, and the length of it was a lengthy outage, you know what I'm saying? And the fact you couldn't do
all day.
Oh my God. This is tough for that. And then here's the thing. Here's the real reality. Money is lost. Like, each day they estimate the amount of downtime that these companies lose. It's horrible. So look, in a world where we're just lamenting, and again, for the digital bros, the all digital future, this is what happens. This is how it goes. This is where the industry's going, right? For my physical pros, this is why y'all got your comeuppance. This is you have to empathize with us, because this is the world you are creating. When you have the dependent on these companies with these networked services where everything is dependent on being online, including an online check-in, an online validation, all these things, when they go out, what can you really do? And the sad reality, it's a coaster. The sad reality, when you log into your Xbox or your PlayStation, right, without online network connectivity, and see what you can do, it's very jarring. I highly advise as a practice test. Say it's scary for me when I have anytime, let's say for example, like I have Verizon Fios, and Fios has an outage, right? It's very rare because I shout out the Fios; they've been great for me. But the few times it's happened or a blip, you're like, oh my gosh. So yeah, this is pretty brutal for them. But I will say, I want to appreciate the transparency. This is an excellent crafted response to, in my opinion, the growing frustration from a base as to what happened. And I want to give him credit, because I don't know if you saw his follow-ups. People were really drilling down. They didn't let him go, because people were like, yo, how is you so dependent on this one service? Like, how does this happen? So he did answer these specific questions. He says, that's fair. We need to be durable to outages for systems on which we depend. That's the work ahead for us. Most modern systems have loads of dependencies. The best systems create durable solutions for when those dependencies fail. This is where we improve. And then someone else asked another follow-up question in terms of the service as well, that dependable service. He said it's an internal service at Microsoft. Because someone asked, why are the licenses for my Xbox content not on a system that Xbox control? That's a fair question.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he goes, it's an internal service at Microsoft that is shared across multiple products, not some random system. Sorry, that wasn't clear. We'll be better about future updates.
That's a good clarity to make, because that was one of my first things. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, trust. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, why is this life? Why my license somewhere? You know, in a sense, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
these are the things that they got to figure out. And again, this is what you want, and hopefully they can come up with some solutions that'll have fail safes in case that happens again, because it's an infrastructure issue. And again, not to make it about whataboutism, but here's what I'll try to say in terms of the PlayStation. Remember when people were losing their accounts and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right? It's clear they have an infrastructure issue with the people with the the people getting locked out of their accounts, or their accounts hacked, and the two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
There's still something. That's all they got to do. Just explain it. That's all we just explain it. Help us understand why you're having this problem that you're having. And then, okay, what are the next steps you're looking to take? When you don't say anything, you're giving off the illusion that you do not intend to fix the infrastructure issue. That's why people are so mad. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, yo, it is scary to lose your account, to lose your licenses. All this stuff is your digital rights, your entitlements, stuff like that. So that's what it is. And again, doesn't let them off the hook for the outage, right? We're not excusing that. This is an awful out, and was longer than PlayStation. Let's be clear. But we got to get to the accountability and what are you doing? Because this is what stakeholders want to care about. See, he ain't got to worry about us. The stakeholders going to be like, yo, how much money we lost in this 20 hours? What? Imagine this happened around GTA.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be head to pop for Mr. Scott Valet. It's going to be hell to play. And I like you. I'm just saying, like, he know it's because he, again, as an IT guy, you got to have that statement ready for the stakeholder. You better explain to the best of your ability what the hell happened and how you look to improve. But that's all I got on there. But yeah, it's unfortunate, saying again, shows these core dependencies and how, a network outage, how much it really affects.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's so funny because to me, like, he's like, okay, we're going to look for a solution now. And I'm like, it exists, dude. It really does. Like, that was the one thing in all of this, right? We got this right in here from Play Has Limits. It's a funny name. It says Mr. Sexy Lays and Mr. Lord Incognito. The all digital future is crumbling before our very eyes. Xbox is down. PlayStation was down. When will they learn? I understand the part of the fight is digital ownership, but physical media allows gamers to bypass outages on their servers and enjoy the hobby we spent money on. Can these outages be a blessing in disguise? Can they wake up the masses that all digital means total dependence on corporations that don't have the consumer's best interest in mind? And look, yeah, like, I'm glad Xbox responded. I'm glad they explained. But the reality is, this is not rocket science. We figured this out. That, like, I'm sorry, I sound like a smug asshole again, but we figured this out. There is no, we're gonna get to work and figure this out. You fucking know, bro. You know the way, man. If you could access these games and services offline, how the fuck would we pull that off? Anyone got any good ideas that would, like, back to the, what is this shit? Like this original Xbox here, man.
I can't with you.
Like, look, yeah, I know, because I saw the numbers of Capcom come out and stuff. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And a lot of people were like, well, you're the minority, bro. But it's like, if we're looking for fail-safe measures and we're an artistic medium, do you not see the merging here? Like, we preserve our content, our medium, while also having a fail-safe option if the lights go out. We were just talking months ago about if Xbox was going to leave the industry. Oh, and they got your whole library now, dude. You know? And so I'm done explaining it from there. It's obvious, the solution here. With that in mind, though, because a lot of people kind of identified the minority that physical consumers are, a lot of people have pointed to this new Capcom data that has come out, specifically that 93% of their sales are digital. And once again, these are numbers that are extremely useful in the conversation. It's actually some of the best numbers that we got because you can peel them apart enough to get a closer look into how much physical does play a factor, even if the broad consensus does. Number one thing worth considering with these numbers that Capcom shared is that they do consider game key cards on Switch 2 digital sales, which logically speaking, like, from a consumer point of view, we're like,
right.
Or I should say player point of view, we're like, yeah, it is basically digital. But you go out to a store to buy that.
Yes.
So I find that to be skewing it just a little bit. With that in mind, though, they shared their Q1 results for the last 4 years. In 2022, their physical units were down 69.1% year over year for Q1 specifically, by the way. This is not like annual, but like Q1. 2023, it went up 46.2%. Very interesting. Year over
Mm,
year.
mm,
And in that year, they launched Street Fighter 6, Battle Network Legacy Collection 1 and 2. They also mentioned in their catalog sales Resident Evil 4, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, Resident Evil 2, 3, Monster Hunter Rise. In catalog sales, they represent like think of them like backlog sales, right? So pretty decent chunk there for physical. It doesn't get better from there though, because then the following Q1, 62.7% drop off in physical year
mm,
over year. But what coalesced with this is also, this was for Capcom holistically a 29.4% year over year drop. And so everything was down, including digital units by 23.9%. What they were shipping at this point was a Monster Hunter Stories port, a Monster Hunter Stories 2 port, as well as Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, Rise, Sunbreak, Resi 4, and Street Fighter 6 in their catalog. So it's just a down quarter for them. But then 2025, we see it was only down 3.2%. So that's actually quite the increase from the last year of that same quarter, where they shipped a Street Fighter 6 port, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, an Onimusha 2 port, a Kunitsigami Path of the Goddess port, and then also in their catalog, Monster Hunter Wilds, Devil May Cry 5, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 7, Devil May Cry HD Collection, Street Fighter. But then this year, their physical sales are up 133% year over year. Pragmata led the charge. Devil May Cry 5 Devil Hunter Edition did, alongside, of course, Resident Evil Requiem. Resident Evil 4, Street Fighter 6, Resident Evil 2, Village, 7, as well as Devil May Cry 5. And they're anticipating next year that physical will be down 27.4%. But I think the main takeaway here is, of course, when Capcom's up, so are their physical. But to me, the main takeaway here is that games like Resident Evil Requiem and Pragmata sold out their physical copies instantly.
right.
And while it's purely anecdotal, what's not accounted for here is that the short amount of supply in physical, when there is demand, is now being met digitally. So with specifically Resident Evil Requiem, I know a lot of people wanted to get physical, not just like, oh, I know a friend of a friend, but like people were sharing headlines being like, yeah, I tried to get physical. Amazon was canceling people's orders. People wanted this game. And what did they do? The only way you can get it easily, otherwise you have to wait, you go digital. Now, does that make up all of that percentage? No. But also, what's worth keeping in mind is like 60% of those digital sales are on PC. And then when you look at the console sales, sorry, 60% of total sales are PC. So that's all digital, right?
It's all digital.
So then the rest of the percentage is console, which then makes up a much larger demographic for the physical, because that's where physical exists. Physical does not exist on PC.
It doesn't exist yet. So by having the PC data in, you're saying it does skew it a bit because, for sure. I understand your point.
Yeah. And to be clear, I'm not saying this again to deny things till I'm blue in the face.
Correct.
This, again, it reemphasizes the idea of physical games being a part of things. It's not the lead way. It's just a part of things. Go ahead, please.
Question, because I see where you're going. My question for you is, do you feel, and this is a slippery slope, but I have to ask it, do you feel that the way, not that people have agendas, but the way that the data is being presented, we have to be very careful the way we extrapolate it because of all these different factors, and thus it may lean to seem like, yes, we know digital is leading the charge, but it may not that it may not be as dominant as it is, but it's not painting the full picture, and we have to have you a little bit more of a discerning eye. Is that kind of where you're going with it?
Yes, that's all I'm suggesting to people.
Okay.
I still think digital is the dominant force. Sure. I would go probably 70-30, at the best, really. I think there are some games which, maybe even go down the middle, but, like it's more just, I encourage people, that's part of our job here, is to kind of extrapolate this and break it down further. But it's tough when people like me are the ones consistently doing it, because people know I'm pro physical. So a lot of people read my data parsing as I'm looking for the leg to stand on.
Right.
But I think the leg has always been there, is my point. Gotcha. It's not like this extremely powerful leg that's going to boot digital out of here, but it's stable enough to keep you on your feet. And I think what's the reality that I'm learning through the data is actually, oh no, there is a market, but supply is not meeting demand. Oh no, there is a market, but it's not just, there's no one's really providing.
Right.
And so alternate options are being found, which is a natural thing for a customer to do. And that's why my argument always was, I don't blame people for going digital, especially in situations like Requiem. Go get your Requiem, dude. Whatever way you want to get it, go get it. Like, I'm not gonna be like, how dare you? You didn't wait out physical. I don't want to wait. I'll go. I've done that so many times where I'm like, I don't want to fucking wait, dude. Like I did it with Adventures of Elliot. I was like, yeah, I want to get that physical on PS5 before all this. I was like, I want to get that physical on PS5 because like that's fully on disc, but I don't want to wait. I'm gonna get this on Switch too. You know, like that. It goes like that.
Now let's ask the tougher question.
Sure.
Because of the supply situation, do you think for some companies, I don't want to make blanket statement, but for some, it would be more advantageous to limit said supply to force gamers to have the FOMO of having a digital and less making of the cost and everything involved with making physical, right? It does save them money, right? It's advantageous for them to have us go digital, right?
Yeah. What they're trying, I don't know if like Capcom's nefarious like this. When I say they're trying, I'm saying generally those who are taking this data and representing it are trying to reaffirm a reality that I don't think quite exists in the way they think they do. What I think a lot of people are thinking in their head is like, no one walks into a store to buy a game. Someone will see a game on a store shelf and go buy it at home digitally or something like that. But I just don't think that's the case. And that's the main thing I'm fighting for is just the idea of like, look, dude, this deserves to exist clearly. Like, that's all I'm saying. It doesn't have to go away. And it definitely benefits these publishers. That's why they're not fighting against it. That's why Ubisoft's like, oh, the industry will end up adjusting. I'm like, yeah, dude, you're also the company that doesn't want us to own our games. We have multiple quotes about that. That's not great company to keep. Or Sega's just like, yeah, you know, we remember physical, and they kind of dance around it. Yeah, they definitely earn a lot of money. Like Colin has said before, I'm sure they're, you know, these partners of Sony are extremely happy with the move. They're like, oh, we're gonna collect some good money here. But I just think the fact that there were no additional monetization strategies approaching this is the more creepy part about it, because as I'll say for the last time, like, you know, charging a little bit more is the bare minimum, but also like these companies not even assessing, hey, if we keep the disk drive and then we do limited print runs of these things and we turn them into collector's items, that we get people who buy the game once now buy it twice. And we're talking about PlayStation in this case, where we saw the Insomniac hack. They wanted to sell you Spider-Man 3 into 2 parts.
Yes.
And Spider-Man 2 was already half a game in a lot of its stories. Not all, but a lot. By the way, not a old take. Just went back and went through that game again. So just want to be clear.
Agree with you. A lot of people agree with you on that one.
So now they've thought about it selling it to you in parts already. Do we really want to break it up further, man? Like, I don't know. So that's just with the great Xbox outage. I think it's a good point of reflection is all I've been trying to say. It's a good point to just look at the data alongside what's happening. And I'm not saying you have to go out there and build up a new plastic collection. I'm not telling anyone to do that. But I really do think there's a stance consideration that has to take place for a lot of people. And I'm so surprised that my posts of these information, which are as objective and as factual as those who are posting the information about digital, it serves as a lightning rod for just harassment. And I'm like one of the least aggressive people about it. I'm like, hey, here's what it says. And they're like, dude, just give it the fuck up. And I'm like,
surrender already.
And the last thing I'll just say is a lot of what's wrong with society is very much visible in this physical game situation. To me, it's a very human thing. The human condition has been trained over this last decade to just give the fuck up, dude.
Don't fight.
We're so accustomed to everything being so bad that it's like, just shut up and take it, dude.
Yes.
And I'm just like, I get it. I do. A lot of times it just feels pointless. I know many people the thousands who listen to us, there's probably a good percentage of you who are like, shut the fuck up. Please. Just 1 week. I don't want to hear your whiny voice about this. But I don't know what to tell you, man. Like conviction needs to become a real thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Having values needs to become a real thing again for a lot of people. Social media has trained a lot of people to shift to try to be right so that they are perceived in the best light. And Cog and I have never played by those rules.
That boy good. Talk that boy. That boy good. Look, man, you speaking, bro. It's as an older gamer, I'm from.
Give us the wisdom.
I'm
Give us a
from, I'm
little
from that era, man. We had to fight for everything. I mean, they didn't want us around. They didn't,
scrappy cog.
bro. They didn't want us, man. They looked at first of all, mom did. It's like, why are you
The
even doing
mom
this
didn't
video
want
game?
us.
She didn't want us. She was like, why are you in this house playing these things? You're gonna your brain cells. You're gonna lose. They gave every excuse. Your eyesight, your brain
Oh, the
cell. You
brain
won't get
cells.
a job.
Classic, classic.
Then we get popular. Oh, look what it's trying to teach the kids. And we got to break, never mind. I watched Scarface 1,000 times and Terminator
Yeah,
1,000 times where, he murdered a whole police officer at the police station. But, oh, yes, the video game. Okay, got it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, it's the fight, the rights to the ESRB, the thing. And then it's like, you nailed it. What I've noticed in recent times, people are so afraid to take a stance on things if
Yeah,
they don't have the guarantee that the stance will be successful. So sometimes it's like a movement has to start from a small thing to then grow into something. And people, I think, are afraid of it. And mind you, I'm the digital guy, but I understand that the physical bros need to exist. We need to have this option. The outage is what man trying to say, and it's why I loved your tweet. The outage was a painful reminder for those who give up all the autonomy, who give up all the access and the rights. This is a future that you could be dealing with, especially if someone takes your storefronts and all that. That's a whole other thing. But that's always said. It's just like, again, people are so, it has made people fearful to take stances. And a lot of what the human spirit is based on sometimes is taking a stance, and then it becomes something special that, we end up
yeah,
looking back. Remember back in the day when we never used to do X, Y, and Z? And because of that stance or whatever, that's all it is. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm with it. Last point I'll just say is I don't know. Did you see GOG's?
No.
Yeah, GOG's put something. Let me send it. They had a little interesting comment. I put it in the notes of the joint.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah, man, and it was like, look, digital or physical, ownership is autonomy. If you don't have it, you don't have ownership. And there's a lot going on right now as far as, like I said, that portion, even, for the storefronts and the digital fronts. But I'm with the side of options. Give options. If you don't, because again, think of it, this is how I just look at it. Think of it, you lose the power in your house. Right? Remember those stories, man? You'd be like, yo, I had the candlelight.
Yeah,
We got
PS
books.
Vita by candlelight.
Bro,
Yeah.
like, think of that. Like, these, like, you know how many people can't operate without a GPS, can't operate without the, can't operate without a phone. That's what we got to think about. If in a situation where anything goes wrong, we go back, like, you got to have some options. That's all. It's just options. And that's what it is. So I'm glad you are out there. I'm glad that the movement is doing what it's doing. And like I said, I signal boost what I can, because at the end of the day, yeah, it's an important thing for gamers and rights that we should at least have, and we shouldn't be shooed away that, just shut up and accept it, and that's it, and that's how it's going to go. And like, what? Like, okay, I'm not from that.
The way I try to encourage people who feel that way to think about it is like, okay, think about it this way. PlayStation steps out in this absolutely alternate universe. Like, we're talking more alternate than Endgame, like just one. Like, it might be half of one, at this point. They step out and they're like, we're sorry. We are making the change. It is here to stay. We're making these adjustments. What do you lose?
Good point.
Dramatic pause for effect.
Good point.
What do you lose?
Good point.
You lose nothing. What do we gain?
Mm-hmm.
The answer's there already.
Exactly.
So that's all it is, right?
Yeah.
You don't lose anything. If you are pro digital, pro Sony, pro everything they are doing, you lose nothing outside of maybe an ego blow because you think you are on the side of pure progress.
Correct.
That is the only thing I can think of.
Facts.
That if I'm assuming the worst of you, that you might be losing.
Yeah, you don't want to be part of something that's considered a losing effort, right? That I tell you, that's all it is. It's ego. It's the same thing with me and Destiny. Like, bro, they were like, "Yo, it's gonna die." Most likely it's not gonna get greenlit. Do you want to be a part of something to try to raise awareness to Sony, Bungie, and I was shocked, 400,000 signatures. Now, granted, did anything happen? No, but I wanted to be a part of it. That's how much it means to me. And I just would like my game to continue to exist, right? So again, we all have movements that are near and dear, but you said it perfectly. what do you have to lose? At the end of the day, it's that old expression: you miss 1,000 shots, percentage of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah.
What if it worked? And sometimes we've seen this where enough people have maced it and you go, oh, yo, they changed it. You know what I'm saying? We would have never thought that day would have. That's always said. So what do you got to lose? That's what people are saying.
Yeah, exactly. So again, time will definitely tell if there's any adjustment at all. But a lot of the pressure I just keep up is in hopes that the other companies watching, whether it be everyone from GOG to Xbox,
Yeah.
take their actions accordingly with that in mind. Or a company like Xbox, who could stand to be a little advantageous here, maybe makes a move based on that.
Yeah.
What that will be, we'll see. But it seems
see.
like they are looking to do something. If their kind of recent announcement of back compat and how they're going to talk more ways about owning your stuff is anything to go by. But again, I just don't appreciate the whole, like, we're looking into how to figure this out from Xbox. And it's like, hey guys, like, I know you got to keep jobs and like figuring things out is part of your earning your money. But sometimes just like you'll find something else to do. I promise you. Just like the solution's right there. Push for the disk drive, for God's sakes. Okay. Let's talk about the future of Halo.
Yes, sir.
So one thing that we learned was that Halo 2 Remake was teased in the legendary ending of Halo Campaign Evolved. Now, Rebs Gaming has also shared on his YouTube channel that, he's heard a similar thing, that Halo 2 Remake would be on the way, but also that there might be another multiplayer project that was in development, though it's not sure how far along it is, and that a campaign is definitely now in early development. So the change from the last report, the roadmap went from no campaign, no multiplayer, no idea about remakes, to maybe Halo 2 Remake, might be multiplayer, we don't know how far it is, and no campaign for a while. With that, we have a write-in here. Fraser writes, hello, Mighty Duke, second time writing in here, and I'm sorry, but I'm here to make y'all talk about Halo once more. Because yeah, the fallout for Halo campaign devolved, no typo, he says, has begun, and yeesh, it's not pretty. The game itself, I don't think it's actually bad, but I think that's mainly due to the game wearing the skin of arguably the greatest and most iconic first-person shooter ever made. But the parts 343 changed, or even added to, it all seems to have completely missed the mark. The weird, stiff voice acting, the lifeless cutscenes where the characters look uncanny, the strange art style choices, the cut cinematics, the lack of any original cut content from Halo Combat Evolved. There's so much I could say, but I should get to a question. But it just makes you wonder, what the hell is going on at Halo Studios? They reportedly had to cancel multiple projects just so the entire studio could focus on a one-to-one remake of a 25-year-old game. The reports also of leadership being terrible too. So Cog, Maddie, I'd just like to hear what you personally would like Xbox to do with Halo Studios. People always say it should be shut down. I'd like to say I agree, but man, aren't we past that? Xbox made their own studio with 343. It failed. They rebranded it. It failed. Surely at this point, it's time to either put the game franchise on ice and please stop with the books too, or give it to another existing studio, or even multiple. I'd love to know your thoughts. Please have a Asha Sharma hire Capcom to make a flood horror game kind of day. Thank you, Fraser, for your impassioned write-in. So with what Rebs has shared, what Fraser has written in about, knowing 2 Remake might be on the way, but also wondering if that cutscene might have been made a little bit ago, bro, and now Project Latitude no longer a thing, right? We no longer need everything as an Xbox. So this main audience that the remake was for, now they're out. Are we still remaking this for Xbox and Steam? Good question to ask. So Cog, I want to pass it to you. The future of Halo. What Fraser asked, what would you do? And how are you feeling now that the dust has settled a bit, right? It feels like every week we're going through this, but this is just an important time to just centralize the conversation as we transition into, I gotta say, I'll jump ahead a little bit here, Cog. Playing Gears and seeing how much they got it with E-Day, even though it was a different developer, I'm like, it's not fucking impossible. A new developer can get the old ways, man. I don't know. So it filled me with some hope. But anyway, Cog, I pass it to you. I'd love to know how you feel about this all.
Every week, man, I just don't have much positive to say. I'm not interested in a Halo 2 remake. It's disgusting to me. I would it's disgusting. Like, bro, look, PlayStation fan base, say shout out to them, shout out to LSM and everyone who rocks, and obviously a lot of PlayStation fans who listen to Defining Duke. And one thing I've been consistent for the most part is, like, what I consider soulless kind of moves. And I would be a hypocrite if it just feels soulless to me to be like, yo, run it back. You know what I'm saying? Now
Yeah.
you ran this back because, in my opinion, you were thinking about being a publisher. You were thinking about being multi-platform. So I understood why you did this initial Halo campaign Evolve. Now that we know what Asha and team want to do as far as exclusives and giving 10-point franchises the focus, and it's not going to be a who is this for? Who is Halo 2 remake for?
Yeah.
Right. And I don't buy the excuse of Unreal Engine training wheels because you got this title to do Unreal Engine training wheel things with, right? So for me, all I'm interested in is something new. I just want something new. I don't want a retread of something that, let's be honest, like you and a lot of other core. I'm dying to speak to Chris Reagan. I've not spoken to Reagan yet, because I saw in our internal joint, he did it, right? He did. So I already know he got thoughts. I can't wait to hear.
I'll tease one thing.
Tease one, please.
I don't know Chris's full thoughts, but I was asking him before the reviews went live for Halo Campaign Evolve. I was like, hey, did you get it? Because I want to have you on Defining Duke if you did. And he was like, no, I didn't. And I was like, okay. I told him, I was like, I'm really curious to get your thoughts.
Yes.
We didn't chat since then. Game comes out in early access, and I get one text from Chris, and when I replied to him, he didn't answer. He went, good Lord. All Lord.
There we go. There we go. So again, there are many people who are feeling like, first of all, they feel you gave your soul away. Like Halo is Xbox's soul. Right? That's why you exist. Let's just be clear. So they're going to say you gave your soul away. And then it's a team that some feel on a managerial level don't understand what the soul is. And then anything that I'm just telling you what the streets are saying. Anything that you have done 343, aka rebranded into Halo Studio, they don't feel encapsulate the spirit of the original game in this, right? So, and then on top of that, there's no multiplayer. Right. So it's just weird bag. Now we get to the Rebs reporting, right? Ecker apparently, not happening. We're not getting anything post Infinite. Now it seemed to be back on. Again, what do they do? How do they not have a project greenlit, ready to go? Again, I'm repeating myself from last week, but it's just like, it doesn't sound good. And I want to be real with you. Like, me and King had a very impassionate discussion about this on IOP, and he was way harsher than me, right? And I am team, hey, give people a chance. Hey, what if we get, new leadership in there? Like, no, we did that. We did that. Yeah. Kill it, destroy it, get them out, never get. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is how we feel, right? I'm trying to get a sense. And I guess here's the last thing I'll say. For me, if there are going to be changes on the top level.
Okay.
I want people who understand the core of what this is. I'm talking about the Statons. I'm talking about the people who were Bungie that were there, that got let go recently by Bungie, but it's like that were part of that. Like, I want people who have the essence. If you are not going to do that with your cleanup efforts from a leadership, then I will admit I'm finally at that part where, and I've never said this. I've always been resistant when you and like Reagan wants it to go away. You've been like, give it to someone else. I am finally there. Like, you may just have to let this fight go. Yeah. And I hate to say it because I love every developer. Again, this is not an indictment on every developer who is working at Halo Studios. I am talking about from a management standpoint because y'all snitching. So don't come at me. Y'all snitching that y'all don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all snitching that y'all don't like it there, and there are other teams that may be willing, because I know a big name I keep hearing is id. So as far as like, I will push back and get the id boys only because I feel Halo plays so distinctly different from a Doom game. And I said this point on IOP, that is with the id tech. Just because you have talented developers who understand, make a great FPS, That is with tech that they are familiar with. They would have to now do that in Unreal with a backbone of a Bungie game to still try. That is a big ask, right? I think King mentioned the coalition. Okay, maybe, I'm at the point, Maddie, I will say this.
Okay.
I am willing to take applications.
Oh, okay. We're hearing things out. We're hearing offers.
I'm willing to take.
Trade block is hot.
If things are going to remain, here's my caveat. If things are going to remain status quo at the top level of Halo Studios, then I'm going to need to see some applications for young guns that want to come in here and try their spin at this franchise. I think I'm at that point. Anything that Reb said, I am not interested in. I am not interested in Halo 2 remake. I'm not interested in spinning the block. I'm not interested in Battle Royale. If you don't give me the next Halo game or a spin-off, or like you do the Obsidian, give some dope team, whoever, spin-off, story with this, ODST, flood horror, spit it off. Don't come back outside until we see that. I'm not, especially after what we just seen with this team on my shirt. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. I don't have not too many nice things to say. I'm not there with it. So sorry. I try to be respectful as much as I can.
I respect the passion. I'm right there with you. It feels like the term of the show, rubber's going to meet the road in a moment here, man. It's like the game is shipped. We'll see what the numbers are via estimates, I imagine, because I don't think Xbox will be sharing any. I'm sure the only number we'll get is player count. Steam numbers have not been super strong, but again, this is for the PlayStation platform, and Colin did point out #1 selling game on PSN. So we'll see how many people really show out for this thing. I mean, Halo still has some level of pull if the Infinite numbers or anything to go by, granted free to play, but it definitely has some level of interest if it's good. But the conversation online about this game in particular, this remake, has not been pretty, dude. I'm right there with you on Halo 2 remake. Halo 1 remake, you could at least somewhat argue from a flaw standpoint, like, oh, you could remake that. You have the back half of the campaign, things like 2 betrayals, pretty drawn out mission, very expansive. I love that mission, but I get it. It's reusing Assault on the Control Room, which you only just played 2 missions before that. Yeah, fair. The library, historically horribly paced mission. They could do some tweaking on that. How about including some of the other weapons in there? Why couldn't we pick up, this is one thing they did do, why couldn't we pick up the energy sword? Yeah. But those flaws were so minimal, in my opinion, that you'd have to do something pretty dramatic to make this game better, because it's already been released to the public 3 different times before this. And this was the floor. This is where you had the most room to change things. Now we're talking Halo 2. And Halo 2 obviously had a ton of cut content given its development cycle, but they showed with the first remake, they're not interested in bringing back cut content. And anything new they added in the prequel missions, I'd go as far as to say, not everyone agrees with me, I go as far to say it was dog shit, dude.
That's
easily,
what King says. Yeah,
easily the worst part of the game. Easily. And that is what's most disturbing. People are like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, yeah, because most of what you play is by Bungie. It was designed by Bungie. Like, that is why. Anything new, though, that they added in, it's like down to the smallest detail. I was talking to Scale Up about this. He mentioned this. He was like, the way the AR functions now, because it could be used at close range, medium range, and long range, completely defeats the purpose of not only how that weapon was supposed to function, which was like a sprayer and a short to medium range weapon, but now this affects the BR, which was the thing. Oh, I'm trading off rate of fire, but I've got accuracy and I've got a scope and I've got long range. So now those little details, man, just these choices are all so, to me as a Halo fan, terrible. Go ahead. Sorry.
So back up. You said, what did he say? Which weapon affected the thing?
The AR.
The AR. Okay. Yeah, so because the fact, when you talk about, he talk about the ADS, or he talk about, what is the part that he feels fundamentally?
Because the reticle used to just be a big circle.
Oh, the circle.
And then they added the reticle within the circle. This started, to be fair, in Reach.
Got it. Okay, fair enough.
Again, this is why I give Reach a little critique. I'm like,
got it.
There are some things they started there with sprinting, although it was locked to an armor ability or the reticle, that, changed things a bit. So I give a little bit of grace there, but the point being is they've doubled down on those design decisions that, Bungie was not flawless. Like that's one that they made that I would not agree with. I think it defeated the purpose of weapons in the game. But this is a perfect time to correct that, and they didn't.
Right.
And so now you want to go ahead and remake Halo 2, which, by the way, we have the perfect version, not just because I'm a little MCC fanboy, but you remade all the cutscenes with blur. What are you going to do? I hope it's not Sergeant Johnson turning and looking at the camera and not talking to the UNSC Marines like you did in the Campaign Evolved remake. I really hope to fucking God you're not going to kid yourself into the idea that you are going to remake these cutscenes and you are going to do better. That's the thing, man. These Halo games, specifically Campaign Evolved, that if they remake 2, this is not for us. This is strictly for them to stay alive, because these games don't deserve to exist. They have not. This is, again, with respect to the devs who are just doing their job. I'm talking seniors who greenlight these projects, approve them. This was a game that was designed to create an asset library for their next Halo project. And they wanted to sell you something in the meantime while they built that asset library. And there was no obvious answer to them other than the Halo remake. And it was an easy one because they're like, oh, we can't write story worth shit. So we're going to take the story we know y'all love and we're going to retell it. So you're going to kid me yourself into, oh, we're going to remake Halo 2 now? No, dude. No, you can't be. So I'd be stunned if it was two things. One, I'd be stunned if they're just not looking across the massive portfolio of first-person shooting talent that they have and not dreaming of a way. Not Halo Studios, but Xbox leadership.
Leadership, yeah.
Yeah, I know id comes up, but you got id, you got Machine Games, you got the entire family of Activision. You've got so many. You could argue Bethesda Game Studios has some first-person shooting prowess. They have fucking Fallout. I would not ever trust them with this, but I'm just saying.
Relax.
Yeah. My point being is that there are so many other people who have shooting games.
Facts.
In their family. We'll ignore BGS.
This is the id bros' strongest argument, I feel, too.
I would put Machine Games.
Yeah, Machine Games. Hell yeah.
Machine Games is way more equipped. Like they Doom games are so fucking fun, but like Machine Games tells amazing stories too, on top of really fun games to play. So I would have them as a pick if I could, but my second point was they're in the same exact position Fallout is in. The main steward of the franchise, people do not have confidence in, and there is no clear roadmap outside of the fact that 2 years ago you confirmed we're going to Unreal Engine, which was supposed to make things smoother. And if anyone's had their ear slightly to the ground, we've heard that it has not been the case. So what we need is the same thing Fallout needs. We need other hands involved here. Until give yourselves the grace and the time to figure things out. But when I read the report from the information, they're like, yeah, Elder Scrolls and Fallout and Halo are our main focuses. Okay, Halo is probably here to stay. It needs to be here to stay in a way that is exciting. Them starting with Project Tatanka, which was a battle royale game chasing one trend, and then transferring it into another trend, which is extraction shooter, and then reportedly transferring it now into super big team battle, then killing it, and then potentially with what Rebs was suggesting, maybe bringing it back in this new Frankenstein way. Dude, like, I don't know if I want that multiplayer game at this point because there was no vision. It was just like, what's hot? Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, let's change this to this. Now let's change this to that. It just kept going and going and going, right? So there's that. And I think really worst of all, Halo, Chris put it beautifully years ago. Halo is one of the few shooting campaigns that people still care about.
Hell yeah.
Truly, per entry. It matters as much as the multiplayer because Halo has always been the full suite. Gears of War has enjoyed that luxury as well. It's always about your campaign, your multiplayer, your horde, or in Halo, campaign, multiplayer, Forge. These are the three pillars that uphold both franchises. Halo cannot afford to go 5 years away from its last mainline entry and then is only getting the beginning, early parts of development going on their next campaign now.
Yeah. No, it's
I don't know, man. That's really, and this is, we notice how we haven't even brought up, like, this is your Mario, like the old arguments I used to use. Like, we're just talking right fucking now, dude. Topic gets me pissed off because it's arguably worse than Fallout, like it really is. Like it's just like, at least Fallout's had old hands on it, but this is like a whole web of shit because it's like it's either been Bungie or Can you strike up a partnership with PlayStation and get Bungie back on Halo? That would put some confidence in it. I don't know.
It's funny you said it. King said a lot of what you said. It's just so funny. You heard it because, yeah, the thing too is just like think about if you're Asha in leadership and you're doing an evaluation of all the studios, and you look at think about the process of greenlighting, shutting down, greenlighting, shutting down, greenlighting, right? If everything Reb's reporting is turning to be true, right? Just like Echo is going to be this, then it's going to be that, then it's going to be. What does that say about the vision and the stick to itiveness to the vision, right? And then what does that say if you're a developer working under those conditions where you're consistently pivoting all the time? How much confidence does that really instill in a team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you gotta have that North Star, baby. We got to, even if not everyone believes, right? You get half believes, right? Whatever it is, you stick with it. So there's this that to me that just shows a lot of internal dysfunction and this is what you've got to root out. So yeah, I'm at that point. Like I said before, like I'm not interested in anything other than a new Halo game or a spinoff where we take the applications from others and see what is your vision for something in the Halo universe, right? And here's the thing that we really ended on. I want to shout Addict out because when we really started talking about, we were like we did a segment of like ranking all the Halo games and stuff like that, right? And it was a fun exercise, right? But like when we talk, I think Infinite came on. There was a big debate about Infinite and stuff like this, right? And I said, this is where, as much as Infinite is solid, there's no way near the top level, right? The Michael Jackson Thriller albums, Halo 3, Halo 2, you know what I'm saying? Reach, all that. So when we broke it down, this is where it failed. They had this buildup from, hey, bro, I don't even like RTS like that. Halo Wars 2 built up the Atriox character. And I said, Maddie, oh my God, they did it. They've got Thanos. They've got their Thanos. You know what I'm saying? And it led up, and I'll never forget the opening scenes in Halo Wars 2 where he's ravaging Spartans, cracks their skulls open and says, just as I thought, just a man. You know what I mean? Then you lead into Halo Infinite, right? Great start. You like, oh, Master Chief got hit. Okay. No resolution on any of that in game. No follow-up, no nothing, no story, no DLC, no nothing. And you expect me to just go on to the next one and you talk about read the book? No. No. Bro, we got nothing, no lock, like that's the problem. There's been no cohesion. And I'm not trying to hear a record. Like, you got to get this right, bro. This is, like you said, the Mario. This is the soul. You playing with the soul, bro. Like, nah, I'm not it. That's what disappointed me the most.
Yeah, dude. They gotta change. It's just what you mentioned about ranking them. I ranked the Halo games on Retro Rebound recently, and what I didn't realize it's just funny when you see it, I guess. Like, I always know I felt this way, but I made like 4 tiers, I think it was. I was like, Halo 3 got its own tier, of course. There was Peak Halo, there was It Exists, and then there was 343 Happened.
Hey, yo!
And so I was going through them all, and after the list is done, you just see the line. There's the It Exists and 343 Happened, and it's all of the shit, right? It's everything from Halo Infinite to 4 to 5, and all the reasons they're everything from awful to inoffensive, whatever it may be, or Halo Infinite, which was like, it's all right. It's got a lot of, sandbox elements are great. Good. Yeah, like we enjoyed the open level design.
Yeah.
But the story was obviously unfinished. The multiplayer was not ready for support. The lack of environmental diversity really hurt it. The lack of mission diversity really hurt it. The list goes on, right? A lot of issues with Halo Infinite. But then you start crawling your way to like 5. You're like, let's not talk about that. 4, extremely forgettable. And you start to realize that, like, when I looked at my list, I'm like, oh my God, dude, everything they've done since they've got this IP in 2011 has been, at the best, mediocre. And look, I know the high bar to reach of old era Bungie
Of
is
course.
something we'll talk about for a long while, but it's not even like we're being the impatient dude bro gamers. You had your time, dude. You really did. You had plenty of times and attempts. You had an attempt at continuing the series twice, 4 or 5. You had an attempt at rebooting it. You had an attempt at remaking it under new technology stacks. What else do you need? And all we've got is a rumor from Jez saying like they're looking at some of these layoffs and trying to allocate more resources to them. I'm like, they were outsourcing the design of a multiplayer game to Certain Affinity. What resources do you need?
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, no, bro.
Like what don't you have? You have everything, spoiled child. You got everything from my eye.
Yeah, and now we're to the point that aren't they now the stewards of the franchise longer than Bungie?
I didn't know. Oh
I
yeah,
think
you're right.
we have to, if we look at the years, I don't quote me, let's do some professional podcast. How long have they now had the Halo franchise? Have they now equaled or eclipsed the length? I mean, it feels like a long time. Maybe I'm off, but
Let's see. No,
it
I'm
just
pretty sure.
I feel like even if they have not had it longer, they're closing the
Okay.
gap.
Yeah, no, it's longer.
Wow, I was right.
Yeah. So Bungie was, I was just making sure because I'm trying to remember if they were involved at all with anything like just in the transition period with Anniversary Edition. But 343 has had the run of it since 2012.
2012
specifically. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize it's been that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an indictment. And again, we're past they're the new kid. They're the, you've had it as long as, and if not longer than the actual creators. And when you look at the resumes, like you said, and you just line them up, it speaks for itself.
Yeah. Again, this all like they're like last thing I'll say then. It just feels like the current situation of the Halo exists because of business. We can't there's money here. We can't, but like the actual treatment of the IP and the obvious status of the studio handling and all this shit, like it's just so beyond fucked. So it's like it's got to change for like the culture of the product itself, like to change the mood around it. Look, I let's go back to Fallout again. That community was down bad up until about a week and a half ago, man.
Facts.
I mean, I lived it, man. Everyone could not hate Bethesda enough. Every comment section, no matter what was said, just like, yeah, dude, Todd's finally getting his face rubbed in the mud. Like they were loving anything this team was going through negatively. Just insane, dude. Insane levels of disappointment. And this team is in the same exact spot. Got to find another set of hands, whether it's to work on the franchise or to truly own it, whatever it may be. I just hope it's not Activision.
Oh, you don't? Okay. So you would
Activision can get involved, but them being the stewards, you'll get a lot more Halo. But I don't know.
You get them out on time.
You'll get them out on time.
The sweatshop works wonders, man.
Yeah,
I don't know about, we'll see about the quality, but as far as that I didn't think about. I know that was a rumor. Yeah. This I don't know, man. We gonna see how this thing play out, but this is a wild timeline where we at right now. When I really looked at it objectively, how long they've had it, and I'm just like, man,
yeah,
that's tough.
Well, here's a fun one that speaking of Halo, this felt pretty relevant to me because I was downloading Master Chief Collection when I was reviewing Campaign Evolved. My wife came in, she's like, oh my God, it's going to take like over an hour to download the Master Chief Collection. Because I usually had it installed, but I think I uninstalled it to like fit a game I was reviewing on there. I was like, man, what a mistake. Like, this is going to take a while. She's like, we have really great internet though. Like, why is it taking so long? And I said, I think Xbox just kind of like bottlenecks it a little bit. Well, how about this, Cog? Today, July 23rd, select members of the Alpha Skip Ahead Ring in the Insider program have begun testing a new update that will optimize game install and update speeds. Here's what the Xbox engineers had to say. Users will experience a new feature to optimize game install and update speeds by introducing a smart download client. Shortly after your game download begins, the client will check which content servers are available for the install or update. It will then test the internet speed for each server pool and select the fastest available connection for that install. The speed test will rerun periodically during the install or update to ensure that the client continues to use the fastest available connection. This sounds great. We all pay for great internet, and it feels like sometimes the consoles just aren't using it. Like, what's going on here, man? I can only download it so fast. So I thought this was good news. I wanted to share with everyone. Cog, your thoughts as a Xbox insider?
Huge, pleases the soul, especially as a person
Yes.
who downloads constantly, man. And one of the worst things is when you see the fluctuation in the network download speed. So you'd be like, oh, you're getting close to a gig, or and then it'll drop down in the like you'll see these weird fluctuations, and I'm just like, what is this? And my internet's good. And obviously, the hardcore IT bros, you call up your IP. If you know a few people, you can say,
Yeah.
hey, we can do some tunneling stuff to get the speeds optimized and Xbox ready. But that does not excuse Xbox not having the clients and the things in place to really optimize these. Because I will say, like Steam, in my experience, does a fantastic
Mm,
job. When I download from the Steam store and I got things going on versus like the Xbox storefront or other client storefront. So it's definitely a storefront issue. And again,
yeah.
Steam Bros, I get why you love that platform. Like I do from security standpoint, from the download speeds and stuff like that. I completely get it. Xbox, we got to step our game up. I love that Inside the Ring is doing this. Is huge, and let's get. So if it means pulling it from a server that's at a closer data set, whatever you got to do to optimize it, because these games are huge, bro. Like you said, massive
Yeah.
collection, all these, everything. Like to me, everything's like 150 that I love. You know what I'm saying? 150 or more if I love it. You know what I'm saying? My games tend to be the ridiculous big ones. So yeah, this is great. And I'm like I said, I'm a big supporter of the Insider program. I try to give feedback and tests all the time. So I'll be diving in, yeah, putting those speeds to the test. 'Cause I want to
Yes.
maximize my network, man.
I'll be curious to see what you discover with that, but I thought that was some good news.
Nice.
Another little update here, kind of important for Cog and I. Xbox's Gamescom, sorry, plans have been shared. Here's what they wrote on the Xbox Wire. Join Xbox at Gamescom 2026 as we celebrate 25 years of play. We're returning to Germany to connect with players around the world and spotlight the many incredible games. The Xbox booth will be packed with new worlds to explore, developers to meet, and experiences that showcase what's next for Xbox. They'll feature 25 upcoming games and 140 gaming stations with games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, Fable, Minecraft Dungeons 2, Gears of War E-Day, Metro 2039, Stranger Than Heaven, Alien Isolation 2, and more. As Xbox commemorates 25 years of play, Gamescom 2026 is our way to celebrate players and communities who made those many years possible. Attendees can revisit iconic moments, games, and innovations from every generation of Xbox through interactive experiences that honor the memories, friendships, and stories created along the way. He said the biggest games will be on Xbox, and many of them will be in our booth ready to play. Again, they mentioned here Modern Warfare 4, Gears E-Day, Minecraft Dungeons. For the first time ever, Fable will have a live demo theater presentation by Playground Games, showcasing live gameplay to the public, taking fans on a hero's journey that highlights its smooth and responsive combat, seamlessly combining melee, ranged, and magical abilities to forge a combat style that feels uniquely your own. Again, Stranger Than Heaven, Metro 2039, Halo campaign Evolve will be there. Let's hope the devs aren't there, Cog. They're going to give
Hey,
us an
yo.
earful. Forza Horizon 6, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So they will be outside with a lot of games. Cog, are you looking forward to this?
Yes, very much so, very much so. I mean, to see Xbox's presence at Gamescom like this is very refreshing. I miss
Mm,
Xbox having a booth. I miss that old
yeah,
E3 where they would have a dominant staple in a convention. I know those
yeah.
times have changed, but it looks like Gamescom is the place for that. The Lords will be there. This is our first time, and I'm excited. I mean, look, playable Fable, at least they're
Mm,
gonna show it played, is amazing. I love that it's kind of screaming confidence. We're gonna get into budgets and stuff after that, but I do love it there. That means it's getting more tangible, kind of thing. Now they said
yeah.
E-Day, they said hands-on as well. Obviously give some thoughts about that later. But no, this is a good lineup. This is a good run, good lineup. More stuff. I like the Sega presence. I like that Stranger Than Heaven is going to be there. I know I got a chance to play. I'm very curious to see what people's takes on that's going to
Mhm.
be. But I like the lineup, man. It's good to see them out in full force like this in Europe and stuff like that. And they're doing a fan fest as well, which is
Yes. All right. Well, time for some not great news. The layoffs have begun at Double Fine. They posted an update saying today Double Fine Productions let go of 23 members of our staff. As a small, tightly knit team, these actions are never taken lightly. Only the survival of our studio would ever make us consider such a painful action. Our transition to becoming an independent company also means becoming a size that we can sustain. The people we are losing were all important. They all made an impact on our games and culture, and they will be missed. We are committed to supporting each affected person as best we can, and we thank them for their hard work and commitment to the creative spirit we cherish here at Double Fine. And the Juan One writes in saying, "Hello, Dukes. You probably saw the layoffs happening at Double Fine. 23 people out of the 90 that work there. It's very sad, and it's hard to see Double Fine make it in the next 5 years. First of all, it's Microsoft's fault at mismanaging all these studios they own. But I want to say something controversial. Is this Tim Schafer's fault as well? Tim Schafer is the heart and soul of that studio, but it feels like he's the reason why they are in this mess in the first place. It's been proven time and time again that he has been ineffective at keeping projects within scope and being on time/budget. Within the last 8 years, they have been with Xbox and they have only released 3 games, 2 of them in the last year, with both Keeper and Kiln. Highest Steam numbers are at below 200. Just feels like it's writing on the wall for this studio." Cog, pass it to you. What are our feelings? The folks at Double Fine have begun layoffs. The Juan One, he's ready to point fingers.
Yeah.
How are we feeling?
Shout out to Double Fine. Obviously, we got the independence, but similar to Compulsion, we're starting to see the realities of being an independent studio. Like when it's you on your own and you don't have Microsoft's backing, you're gonna have to get the keywords he uses sustainable, right? And they had to make cuts to their team already in lieu of this, situation. So look, I like Tim. I'm a big fan of Tim and what he brings to the games industry. I think it is fair what Juan is saying in reference to the type of games that were brought out during Double Fine. I think they are not the type that were commercially successful, and there's a price to pay for that. However, in defense of Tim, that's not the conditions he brought his studio under, right? So he was under the impression that he could be creative, he could do these little niche games. They'd go into this amazing service tells Game Pass, and it'll supplement because you got Call of Duty. That was the vision. You know what I'm saying? So in his defense, that's why they made those type of games. Now let's get to what I think he is actually guilty of. What I think he's actually guilty of is as you see the games climate in the industry going through this turmoil the last 3 or 4 years, layoffs, games not being successful, it, in my opinion, behooves you to have what I consider something in the tuck. You know what I mean? So you have a project that's in the tuck that you're super excited about. And if it goes left with whoever your owner is, you know what I mean? You have something ready to go. And that's what I'm hoping for now. Hopefully it's a Psychonauts 3, right? Hopefully it's something like that where they know they've had some commercial success with. If we pitch this, even if it's not Microsoft, we're going to have someone of interest. And that's all you can hope for. Because I think there is, to Juan's point, it is fair to say you had 8 years, you took this long, and you have these 2 things to show for it. And Psychonauts was like part funded, right? Didn't they have to get help?
Crowdfunded partially.
Yeah, to get that out.
Yeah,
exactly. I think that's a fair argument to Tim, right? You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. I'm pulling from. I love Tim. I think he's needed in the industry. I'm very curious what the next project is, though. I want to know. That's going to tell me a lot, kind of thing. Because you can't. It's bootstrapping season right now, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's real. It's real. You're not underneath that protection, and you're going to need to make very smart, sound financial decisions that are for the best of the studio. And I'm very curious with the creative studios, these what I consider the artsy fartsies, right? How do you survive? And I love artsy fartsy. I'm guilty of it, right? I owe myself as artsy fartsy, but how do you survive, in this climate? Even my beloved, what was it? Konutsugami, and that's Capcom. Now, you know what I'm saying? And they had to get Xbox to help them get that out the door.
Yeah.
Remember that? You know what I'm saying? So artsy fartsy, it's very hard right now. It's very difficult. It's a tough time.
Yeah. I mean, I'll sound like a little bit of a broken record here. There's just a fine line in gaming that I think is becoming very visible. And for some companies, they saw it coming. For some, they're really late to the curve. And I don't know what you can do to really foresee it, but I sympathize for their situation that they were kind of sold a dream, like, hey, get creative and take your time. I do think there's a fine line though, with like even being creative, that you have to still remain competitive. And I don't know if after the incredible journey that Psychonauts 2 was, that the best thing you could do for your team was to disappear for 5 years and then come back with, Lighthouse and pot games. Like, Cog's laughing, but that's like the thing is he's laughing, but like that's literally what happened. I don't know if it's the way I'm saying it, but like that's what happened,
You got away with words, brother.
Riley unintentionally. I hate to be that guy, but I'm really
funny. Yeah, you just talking normally, but I be catching little things and it's just funny. I'll be in my own world listening. He said out here making them Lighthouse and podcast.
It sounds a little ridiculous, no? Like I know there's different tastes, different blokes, different strokes. Not every game has to be for me. Certainly, I know that well and clear. But if you're trying to stay afloat, there's got to be a level of like, this speaks to us, but this has to appeal to them too. And I'm glad they're making things that speak to them, but I don't think they consider the second half of that. And when you're gone for 5 years, or however many years, as that budget goes up and you're paying people every 2 weeks for 5 years straight, now that project that releases after all that time, which happened to be Keeper in October, next to Ninja Gaiden, the Xbox Ally, Outer Worlds 2, probably forgetting one, didn't make any noise. And that project had to perform because of the conditions of the studio and the release culture. So as you and I discussed when these studios were selected and they were let go from Xbox, we were like, yeah, there's probably going to be some trim in the fat. Because to put it in Cox's terms, he was like, oh yeah, go ahead and do what you were doing on your own. Let's see how that works. So a lot of this is reality kicking in. I don't think they were living in a complete dream world, but 5 years ain't going to cut it when you're by yourself. And a massive staff of almost 100 people making games like the ones I mentioned is definitely not going to cut it. If I'm them, I'm trying to get Psychonauts 3 greenlit as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I know it's a smaller team, but I would be trying to get it greenlit as soon as possible, because I think that is the thing you could go to a publisher with and be like, help us make this. And I think they would back it because there's known data there. If I'm them. And then as you get your feet under you as an independent studio again, then start doing your crazy brutal legends and whatnot that people know you for. But Psychonauts 3, let's be clear, is very crazy. Mm-hmm. That's what we love about it. So I feel bad for them. I really do. But this type of stuff, inevitable. And I hope they survive enough to continue to make games here. That's the thing that I'm hoping for. But we'll see with this new adjustment and what they end up making, what ends up happening here. That's what I'm most curious about. I'd love to be a fly on the wall and be like, what games are they talking about right now? What are they thinking about doing right now? Because there is, again, that kind of come to Jesus moment for a lot of these teams, which is just like, but beyond Xbox, by the way, I'm not even talking about just them, just a lot of teams across the industry are like, there's two halves to this relationship and there always have been. Mm-hmm. And I think the reality that hit a lot of these companies is like, oh, like when we stop serving that for combined with long development timelines, they get very upset.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Very upset.
100%.
All right. Sticking with some news on Xbox here. This one was a bit of a, whoa, where did that come from? Avatar Legends, the new Avatar the Airbender fighting game. By the way, shout out to Avatar Aang, Last Airbender. Just came out on Paramount Plus. I know it leaked way before that, but I saw it on Paramount Plus. Fucking great movie. Really great. They dropped a random update the day before the game was coming out. And they said the official launch of Avatar Legends, the fighting game, is almost here, and we can't wait for players and fans around the world to jump in and start playing. As we approach launch, we want to update our community on a few platform-specific details. For Nintendo Switch players, the Nintendo Switch version will be available as the standard edition. Additionally, crossplay will be with other platforms, and language localization beyond English will not be available. We are committed to bringing these features along with upgrading the the deluxe edition to players as soon as possible. We'll keep you updated on our timeline and progress. That's like surprise one. It's like, what? Day before, it's like, yeah, no crossplay? Okay. For the Xbox community, again, this is the day before, dude. We are forced to delay the release. Due to unforeseen circumstances on a back-end feature, we will now launch by September 3rd. Existing pre-orders will remain active and will not be canceled. Our priority is delivering the best possible experience on every platform, and we are working tirelessly to make that happen. Thank you for your patience, understanding, and continued support. We're excited to get everyone into the fight as soon as possible. Tune in for updates as we have them. And dude, like, less than 24 hours before the release. And they do this. I usually don't pull the whole like, man, Xbox second class citizen treatment, but this shit was definitely like send tweet on like, look at our numbers. 2,000 pre-ordered it here. It's fine. Like, oh man. The game looks excellent, but this was a real stutter. I could not believe the proximity between not only the significance of the delay. We're not talking like we're releasing a week later. Like we'll see you early September when everything else is coming out, which I imagine is not ideal for them either. But pretty stunning one here. Do you have any theories on this? I have none. I'm just like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, I saw this across my timeline. I'm stunned. I'm literally stunned because, again, this was a game I covered. Shout out to Rook. We covered this at GDC, a Day of the Devs, and the tremendous turnout for this game. One of our better performing videos.
Yeah.
Interviewed the CEO. Amazing, commentary, and really, really understanding how important not to just what I consider IP and license farm.
Sure.
I got the sense that they were really taking it towards the FGC and really making a competent sound fighting game. So you had the fighting game community hyped about what they were doing. You had all your Avatar bros, all of you guys. Bro, they were this game got the most attention, Maddie. Like it was crazy. We had to fight for camera time just to maneuver in to get the interview because there was so many people playing the game. They didn't care we was interviewing the damn owner of the thing. It was that much of a turnout. So this is strange. Here's the first part that's strange, right? Why is the Nintendo Switch only getting the standard edition only?
Yeah, something happened, dude.
What's wrong with the other version? Like, why? So you got that part, right? Then they talk about crossplay and language localization beyond English. So that means again, the other languages are not going to be supported. Then you lose crossplay, which is for fighting games, which is already in a niche live service compartment. You are cutting off a huge portion of people to interact with, right? Now, granted, PlayStation, dominant platform, we get that, but you want everybody to be part of it. This is my theory. Then they said the Xbox, first of all, you do this the day before, like, that's wild. That's what. So to me, this screams, oh, we gotta come out. We can't necessarily delay all of it as one collect because generally the rule of thumb when you have these many issues, right? And I'm going to assume it's smaller team, maybe that it's like, okay, you know what? We're just not ready for prime time right now. Let's just delay whatever. But this is like, hey, I'm guessing the budget. It got to come out. At least we'll get the PlayStation bag early. We'll deal with the Nintendo Switch situation and the crossplay. And Xbox fans, but the business decision, right? If we took a pure business, pure install base, at least we will get those PlayStation numbers. We've seen the pre-orders there. We've seen the internal data. We can at least get some bread. The question for them is when you've now eliminated almost 2 bases to interact with, and I'm not sure if it's available on PC. All right, they have PC. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Switch version with crossplay not going to be there. Xbox completely not there. Then the language support. Isn't this like educate me? Is it Avatar one of them ones?
Yeah. Very, very durable IP too, given how little has really come out since The Last Airbender in like the mid 2000s versus now where there's a lot more, but like it just really has hung on because of its impact. So yeah, this is one of those ones. Indeed.
How I knew about this IP is because, I'm a fraud and I'm an unk, but like I only knew about this joint because one of my favorite fighters at the time, he's Israel Adesanya, we call it like the last Skywalker. He loves it.
Yeah.
Even though he fell from grace and it's sad to see. But at his peak, like he would do all the stuff. I was learning about the damn anime through him. I was like, damn, he based his whole fighting persona on this anime. Like that's super dope. So yeah, man, this is a strange one. This feels small team. We made a business decision kind of energy. I'm just
Mm.
worried that it just might backfire because I heard so much positive things about this game, Maddie, and it's just like
Mm.
for it to launch in this disjointed kind of a fashion
Yeah.
just sucks.
Yeah, and I mean, again, most of the fighting game community is not on Xbox, so I'm sure the game's
Yeah.
numbers are a-okay.
Oh yeah, it's the
Yeah,
skewing for sure.
it's just a really shitty situation for Xbox fans for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, with that, Cog, let's bring up our next bit of news here. This is for Stalker 2. Shout out Lockmort. He's waited a long while for this. It's Cost of Hope DLC got a release date, and with that, it's going to launch alongside its major 2.0 Unreal Engine 5 update, which will also complete the A-Life feature stuff that Locke has talked about, where it creates a much more dynamic, reactive map. Go ahead. Yeah, time out. What do we got?
Locke, if you're listening, you mean to tell me the A-Life feature still wasn't out all this time that we since like last talked to them? It's just gonna come out now?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I think you got me insecure. Hang on.
Sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot because this is more
No, you're
more of a
good.
Lockmore question because I know he goes hard. The way he described this feature was so dope to me that I was like, all right, don't even play it until this joint come out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, damn, we had to wait this long.
Sorry. Functional elements and initial major fixes for the A-Life 2.0 system. So they had to
2.0.
they had to overhaul it with
All right.
subsequent patches around December 2024 and
Okay.
then refined in 2025.
Got it.
And I believe it's getting more refinement. Based on the way
Got it.
Locke was talking
So
about it, but like
base level it came out, still had issues.
Mhm.
This is the refinement, the 2.0 version.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I did not finish it because I was like, oh, I'll wait for the updates. I didn't know I'd be waiting this long.
Me too.
I didn't know I'd be waiting this long. So, Stalker 2, I mean, these looks great. I'm very tempted. I'm very tempted. New glossy engine, new DLC, all the updates in tow. I definitely want to check it out, but we'll see. Busy time to release. It's arriving August 20th. So
That's soon.
strap
Okay.
in. All right, this next one. Oh man, I forgot I put this one in the script. Dragon Age Remasters. Who wants to talk about them? If you listen to my interview with Mark Dara a few years ago, y'all will remember, I'm saying a few years ago, last year, a certain headline that was making the rounds from our conversation, and it's come back, but in a new light. In an interview with FRVR, Mark Dara, who is the main lead producer for Dragon Age, talked about a remastered collection of Dragon Age games, similar to kind of what we got with the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This is something I talked to him about, and he talked about how BioWare had envisioned a Champions trilogy, but he said that he doesn't think that the likelihood of this game existing is high anymore, like it maybe once was when everyone was there. And when asked why, he said there's basically no one at BioWare anymore that understands the Aurora engine. There's basically no one outside of BioWare anymore that understands that. So unlike Mass Effect, which is Unreal, basically no companies could help you. And that stings, man. Because like when he told me it, he was like, yeah, we were pitching this as like a remaster. He's like, it could be possible to get it off the ground now, but like they rejected it back then because BioWare would have had to fund it themselves. Like I got a completely different answer. Now this is the new layer of just like, I never considered this. The when we talk about systemic loss, right? And I'm not saying this is not me saying, oh, they should have kept everyone after Veilguard. But there is a cost to this. We all cared about older Dragon Age, which maybe we could have got. This is what happens, man. So it's so funny because I think the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is phenomenal. It's some of the best value in gaming, but the Dragon Age Remaster Trilogy, I've always argued, needs to exist more because from Origins and on, they just made such radical changes with the series that a remaster package could rebalance and bring things more in line. And in the case of Dragon Age 2, fill in some cut content. In the case of Dragon Age Inquisition, remove some of the content where it's not all like, I don't have to play it like an MMO and grind power. Just rebalance the whole thing. Like, that series would be, I mean, it was already pretty great. I think Origins, of course, is just pure excellence, but the rest I thought was solid. But to know, like, we'll never get that. It's such a shame. It's the only way I feel you could bring some goodwill back to the series right now, because I don't think if anyone heard oh, let's bring Dragon Age back.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. After Veilguard, I
Yeah,
mean,
after
I
Vanguard.
gotta be honest,
Yeah,
I
it's
still
not.
got a foul taste in my mouth from
I
that. I'm
feel
just like,
you.
I don't know if I want to see Dragon Age for a long
Long
time,
time.
unless it's
Yeah.
like a prettier version of a thing I got a while ago.
Yeah. And
That's what I would accept.
I agree. I agree. You have to Mass Effect it. You after the Andromeda stink, you have
Yeah.
to now give the sorry Hulk, love you. Uh,
Wait,
but
Hulk gloves? Wait, really?
oh, you did not know this?
No, wait, what
Bro,
happened? Wait.
we had a great Mass Effect debate, right? And it was the Mass Effect, it was on ILP, it was one of our best performing videos. We had Rand, Hogue, Ainsley Bowden from Season Gaming. It was dope, man. We had some who's who, and it was which is the GOAT. And it came down to Mass Effect 2 versus Mass Effect 1, right? So obviously I'm a Mass Effect 2
Okay.
bro, the Mass Effect 1 bro, and Hogue was on Mass Effect 1 bro. But then during the course of the Hogue, forgive me because I have to pull a spill of beans on this. This was funny. During the course of the debate,
Oh, no.
Hogue then mentions Mass Effect Andromeda in glowing term. So I had
Sure.
literally used my stop card. I said, this man must be disqualified for future Mass Effect discussions for even saying Andromeda was this, that was great. And I literally made the entire panel laugh. And it kind of changed the time for our argument a little bit in the comment section. Who you guys felt won? And they were like, "Oh my God, Hulk, we can't forgive you for this Andromeda."
Yeah.
So he's one of the few people. That's my brother. First of all, I love you, Hulk. It's all fun. He's
Absolutely.
one of the few people that I know that loves Andromeda. Like loves it.
Feels good.
To
Yeah.
shoot in the
Yeah.
combat
That
and
we can agree on that.
planets.
Yeah.
Yeah, planets, and that's about it. But
Wait, I'm gonna sound it's his favorite.
no, I mean, I don't want to misquote.
Okay.
He thinks very highly of it. Mass Effect 1 is his goal.
All right.
That's
Yeah.
his goal.
He's safe. Yeah. No, he gets it.
So I get the pure RPG. Saul was on his side too. Saul was again. It was Lord versus Lord. It was a wild one. It was a fun debate. So yeah, in that judge, but he thinks people go too hard. And Andromeda is a great game kind of thing. And we like, okay, we gotta stop you now. And I love you, Hogue. I was like, we gotta stop you now. But God bless you. You love it, and that's it. But basically, where I was going with this in reference to, because my joke was like, that's why you see that joint, it wasn't part of no trilogy with the Mass Effect, because you see how Bioware feels about it.
Yeah,
But
and
what I'll say,
obviously the Dragon Age oh my God, I can't speak. The Mass Effect 5 trailers have kind of sidestepped Andromeda a bit, and like, oh, I saw N7. It's like,
yes,
yeah, I think Bioware knows.
exactly. And all I would say with this was just that, yeah, we would love for them to have had the trilogy for Dragon's Age. If they ever decide to make a new one, you can't just come back outside with a new one because there's so much damage. That's what kind of Andromeda did, right? It was so much damage with the Veilguard situation, right? That it's like you got to remind us why we love you at your best with this trilogy remastered package. But it's just so unfortunate that no one knows Aurora Engine. I did not know that.
Yeah. So, yeah, no Dragon Age for a long while. I saw this clip on Twitter. It was from a account I love called Xbox Nostalgia, and they just put up old gameplay
I got
clips
those
of
nostalgia accounts I'll be following. Yeah,
all the rave, man. This
they're
is all
amazing.
like I'm feeling a little old. This is 90s, early 2000s. A lot of people are
Hell
like, oh, I
yeah.
love the Y2K stuff. I'm like, I do too. It was great. Imagine growing up during it, man. Very good times. But they posted a gameplay clip about Dragon Age Origins on console. And I was like, yo, this game changed my life. And the amount of people, dude, who were just like, me too. For me, that was my first HD video game.
Woo!
Like, I this is a great story.
Let's go.
I've told this before, so I apologize to anyone who's heard it before. I think it was for Christmas. My parents had got me a Vizio HD TV.
Shout out to Vizio TVs.
I know.
HD generation for a
I
lot of us.
know.
Nice budget price. It was smooth to get in.
Oh, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And so I had a nice 20-inch Philips 4x3. My box I was happy with, dude. And I was playing games on that. I had the yellow, red, white.
Oh, you had the composite cable?
Yeah, composite cable was good to go. Everything was nice and accessible.
S video. Maybe you had a little S video.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I set up this new TV, right? I'm like, oh man, new HD TV. I'm in middle school. And so what do I do but take the existing cables and plug them in and hope some magic happens, right? Like turn on my TV. Hey, yo, why is the image stretched like that? Like, why is it, why this looks worse though. Like, so me being the asshole son I am, unplug the TV, put it right next to my closet. Here comes Mr. Phillips.
No, you
plug
did.
it back in, and I'm back to SD gaming, right? Now, obviously, at this point, my parents are like, "Do you not like it and stuff?" And I'm just like, I think I forgot what I said to them because they didn't fix the problem. I think they just asked me if I didn't like it, and I was like, "No," because again, just I hate younger me, bro. Anyway, I end up as a part of my content creation journey. I'm like watching these people like take footage of Call of Duty, and they're all like nice, sharp HD clips. And I'm like Google, I'm like, how do I get my gameplay to look like that? And they're like, here's this thing, a Hauppauge HD PVR. But here are the cables that you're gonna need, right? And these cables, component cables, were like magic to me. I was like, I never heard of these. You must be able to only get these in like secondhand markets. So I go on eBay. I don't even go to Best Buy or Walmart. I go on eBay and I buy these composite cables, right?
Monster.
And so I get it all hooked up, and I'm like, okay, let's do a test. Like, I'm like, they're like, you need an HD TV for this, though. I'm like, oh, I got the equipment. I'm set. So I hook it all up. I fire up Dragon Age Origins. My life had changed right there. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I've never seen anything like this before. And it's so funny to think about because obviously older BioWare games are incredible, but they did not have this like graphical showpiece like a Halo 3 or something, like where you're like, oh shit, Gears of War, you're like, oh shit. I was playing Dragon Age Origins and like I was like, I'd never seen anything better and sharper.
How sharp it look, how crispy.
Dude, so unbelievable. And so that's what Dragon Age Origins always brings me back to. When I saw that clip of it running on consoles, like, dude, I remember playing that on 4x3, and that was my first experience with not only HD gaming, but DLC. Buying the DLC from PSN to get more trophies, to get more quests, return to Ostagar. That shit made me feel things. Yeah, dude.
Bro.
Dragon Age was such like a center point in me having a technological discovery that was so embarrassing to kind of go over because you're like, oh God, dude, like how'd you not know any of this even at a young age? But
bro,
I always tell people, I was like, I'm not technologically inclined. And then there's your proof.
Bro, literally, that's why for people like, why does he love Xbox so much? That is why. Like all my technological breakthroughs happen with this platform, with the original Halo and System Link. Oh my God, I could do what? And we can with multiple TVs. Then boom, Xbox Live. Oh my God, Maddie could stay at home. I could be here. We're playing. But to your point, I never forget the HD era. It was the same thing. And you get your first 1080i game, or your 1080p, or even the 720p. When you look at blurry 480i, and then you see it you're like, oh my God, I can never go. It got to the point I would look at the cases. You look at the top, be like HD enable. You look at the back, HD, how many P's it had? Because I wanted to know what that supported so I could show it on my TV, and it just took the fidelity to the next. It was no going back. It was no going back, brother.
Dude, complete game changer. Game changer. So just had to be there. Now there's a whole new generation that's growing up, and their version of that is the first time I put in a prompt on ChatGPT, and it made what I thought was it was an amazing. I'm just like, dude, we're so fucking fried. It's unbelievable.
Dystopian.
The first time I bought my Roblox DLC. Oh, dude. Oh no. Yeah. The first time I put on that Fortnite skin, dude, it's so bad. Like we objectively had it so much better.
Not even close. Not even close. I'm biased as hell, of course.
Oh. Good luck, parents out there. All right, this next one's pretty hype. The new Cyberpunk game is leaked. This is from MP First. There are details on this previously unknown project originate from the portfolio of a former WayForward developer whose name we are withholding for privacy reasons. Very nice of them. The developer's resume details an unannounced CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk research and development project codenamed Gemini that was in the works at WayForward between 2025 and 2026. Given this time frame and the R&D label, it is safe to say the game was in the early stages of development. This label is typically representing a phase where studios prototype mechanics, build technical framework, and test concepts before greenlighting a full production. Unfortunately, the developer's resume doesn't clarify the project's current status, which could easily mean it's a scrap concept. Despite this, the portfolio provides some interesting tidbits regarding the dev's contributions, including an internal project logo that features the Cyberpunk Edge Runners branding right alongside the code name Gemini. Based on the brief description on the website, Project Gemini was conceptualized as a rollback-driven 2.5D brawler. This immediately brings to mind WayForward's previous work on the River City Girls franchise, considering that both the game series and Edge Runners share a high-energy anime aesthetic, blending the show's universe into a 2.5D beat-em-up, which certainly feels fitting. And beyond the brawler premise, the developer's notes reveal a few noteworthy technical features. Mentions of a rollback-safe architecture and online transport integration indicate the game was being built with online multiplayer and rollback netcode in mind, also features included in River City Girls' latest entry. Separate findings also reveal that WayForward had an unannounced Unreal Engine 5 project in the works based on a licensed IP. The team delivered a vertical slice for this project, but according to a developer, funding was delayed, leading to a halted development and a round of layoffs at the studio in September of last year. Whether or not this project was Gemini remains unknown, though we do know the mystery UE5 title was in active development until at least 2025. The timeline aligns closely, given that the Cyberpunk title was worked on through early 2026, according to the portfolio data. If even the research and development project was ultimately canceled during strategic realignments, the pitch alone shows that CD Projekt Red was actively looking to expand the Edge Runners IP beyond the screen. Would this appeal to you, sir? Have you played River City Girls or like seen it at PAX or anything like that? Yeah. Would this appeal to you then, a Cyberpunk game in that kind of light? Because I'm thinking Towerborn a little bit. I'm thinking Absolem. I'm thinking of those games and Cyberpunk. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know I needed that. I kind of dig that idea.
Yeah, this is kind of fire, man. Like,
Yeah.
speaking of which, there's fire out of control. Remember the Cyberpunk Edge Runner joint? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm there. I can hear the theme song in my head. Like, I'm rocking right now. Yeah, man. I think Edge Runners or anything associated really doesn't get enough credit for really rejuvenating the turnaround of the Cyberpunk franchise, because that happened right before the big update. It got us invested into the universe and then back into Cyberpunk, and they had one of the best updates and turnarounds going. I would love a spin-off project like this. I would love it. I think it's perfect aesthetically. It's different enough. I'm with it. You said brawler. You had me at 2.5D, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. It's over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I love stuff like that.
Action RPG kind of thing going on here.
Yeah. Give me a little skill on tree on top of that if you want to be a little extra. And I'm with it. I think Towerborn doesn't get enough credit for, I know they had their development cycle, stuff like that, but like, I would love something like, similar or even their own spin from Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red.
Amen. Well, that's something that's in the far future. Let's talk about what's in the near future. Let's look ahead at the game releases for August 2026. This is one of our newer segments that we do at the end of every month to get you prepped for what's coming out the following month. And August 2026 is where things really kick off this year again. Beast of Reincarnation arrives August 4th on PS5, Series consoles, and PC. The Big Walk, I'm putting this in here because I think I've only seen Dustin talk about it, so I feel like that's relevant to our community. August 4th on PS5, Switch 2, and PC. This one's for me. Lies of P Complete Edition. This comes to Switch 2 on August 6th, all on the cart with the DLC. And I just played Overture this year. It's peak. Please enjoy. That same day, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, which just enjoyed its open beta, is also coming out on August 6th, PS5 and PC. Oblivion Remastered arrives on Switch 2 on August 11th, full game on the cartridge. Dusk Fade, August 13th on PS5, Xbox Series, Switch 2, and PC. The Sinking City 2, a game that's going pretty under-discussed from Frogwares, who finally got the rights back to their game, and they're making this very survival horror-driven Resident Evil 4-inspired game here. August 18th, PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Don't sleep on this one. Looks really good. Mortal Shell 2 comes out August 20th on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. The Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 arrives on August 27th, and it's on basically everything. PS5, Xbox Series, Switch 2, Switch, and PC. That same day, Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy. August 27th, PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. And hey, three's a party, man. Star Wars Zero Company, the game that we opened up the show talking about. August 27th, PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Cog, anything that you're looking forward to outside of Star Wars Zero Company this month? Yeah, sorry, I gotta rob you the opposite answer here.
Fair enough. Got my eye on Beast of Reincarnation. I believe that's a Game Freak. Yeah. I liked what I saw. I remember that I believe it was at a developer direct. I can't don't quote me when we saw it first, but I thought it looked interesting. I thought it looked cool. And like I said, I want to see what they do, like them kind of messing around. Tokon, I want to kind of get on just to look. It's FGC, it's Marvel. I gotta support. You know, what I'm saying? I missed out on the beta thing. I know a lot of people were rocking out, and I heard some different things. I got to speak to my fighting bro. Shout out to my boy Diafoam. He plays 2D stuff, and he competes at Evo and stuff like that. So I was getting some cool feedback. And yeah, I thought it was interesting. Oblivion remastered, so the whole game's on the thing. Wow, that's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah, that's probably the only one. Actually, I'm curious about that port though. I want to see, based on, in fairness, you know, Bethesda's history as far as updates and fixes. Man, he shook his head. He's like, I was hoping that maybe in conjunction with the Switch release, maybe we revisit some patches.
Yes. I got that confirmation, Lord Cognito.
Oh, yes.
Let's
go.
Yeah. Because I asked Bethesda about that. I said, hey, are you everyone's always writing in my comments like they'd love some Oblivion patches. You know, is there any chance that we get an Oblivion remastered patch for other platforms that are not named Switch 2? And they said that the optimization and fixes that they have for Switch 2, they are hoping to bring back to PC and console. So
okay. Because
that's the official scoop from your boy.
All right, salute. That's huge, because what I'm hoping for, like, I'll be honest, I held off. Oblivion's one of my favorite. I don't want to play in any busted fashion. And now you said I'll pre-down. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pre-download it on my Ally, and we're gonna see. Because you always know when you get that update, you're like, game's updating. All right, let's go. What y'all fixing? What y'all patching?
Yeah, so that's one that I'm very curious about too. I'll definitely be playing it for a little bit just to, feel it all out.
Yes.
Fallout 4's patch release on Switch 2 was pretty good. I was very surprised by it.
Nice.
So we'll see what Oblivion Remastered brings to the table. Time will tell. Otherwise, for me, games I'm looking forward to: Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2. Never played MGS4 before, but I might do that myself on PS3 beforehand for Retro Rebound viewers out there, and then play Peace Walker through the Volume 2. Obviously, we already talked about Zero Company. Resonance, I gotta warm back up to. I cooled off a little bit.
Okay.
Combat looks solid, but it's not having any of the special elements that I find very appealing from the Plague Tale series. So I'm kind of treading water here. And then Marvel Tokon's this awkward, like, I want it, but at the end of the day, with everything that's going on with PlayStation right now, it feels like, this sounds very poor of me, and I apologize, but it feels like the wrong purchase right now. It really does. So I think Beast of Reincarnation kind of rose up my list by proxy of these feelings that have kind of started to grow in the last month or so.
Okay.
Because I think that game looks pretty solid. And if that's what I'm waiting for reviews on, it's Game Freak.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But
if those reviews come in pretty decently, I'll check that one out.
Okay.
Dusk Fate is another one on my radar. Very Kingdom Hearts inspired. And I think we need more games like that. So I kind of want to peep that as well. And then because of the schedule clearing up as well, Sinking City 2 might make an appearance. I think because of the whole legal dispute that happened with Frogwares, it's, I want to see if that's going to be something like, okay, they cleared everything out. Now they made the game. I want to be there to support that, provided it looks, it delivers on how good it looks. So we'll see. Cog, are you ready to talk about what we've been playing?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
How do you want to do this? You want to talk about what's not the main subject here, and then
that's fine.
Okay,
yeah, that's fine. So let's talk about the not main subject. It will be the alters variable DLC once again. I thought this was gonna be a nice 6 to 10 hour romp, and I'd be done with this. I have 30 hours in this game. This DLC, and I've not beaten it yet. And I'm towards the end. I'm very towards the end. And let's just say this. If you love the alters, you're going to naturally like this game for the most part. But I have some issues now. Now the honeymoon phase is kind of wearing off on me. And I want to shout out 11-bit because here's the thing. I told you the guy's story. It's the scientific view of him being left on the planet. There's this threat of the there's one portion of the planet is left in an oasis, paradisic state where vegetation and things are growing, and he just can't let it go. He needs to know why after every 10 days or whatever it is, the sun comes, burns everything on this planet except this area. You then find technology that helps you terraform the planet, which brings the paradise further out and out. Now, let's get this out the way, Maddie. This map is the most dense, huge map they've ever built. This is including, I would say, triple the size of the first game. Now, the first game, it had small to medium-sized maps that then advanced the story to go to the next location, Act 2, the next location, Act 3. This map in the last variant, bro, the density, the verticality is insane. Then for my base build, base building, it's really not a base building game, but what makes the game so dope is, besides, like I said, the internal aspect of, managing the alters, managing their personalities, managing all the craziness. The thing that is where it's dope is when you go outside into the planet, right? You're dealing with the anomaly. So that's their combat part. But what's dope is, okay, you find the resources. Let's say you find rupidium, which is to make more altars. You find minerals, you find organics, right? To set up a mining station, right? And all of this, see, this is where they get you. Most games like this do this in a very boring, whack graphical way. This game, it looks like the most high tech. You build up a structure, then you're making the telephone lines and you're bringing it back to your base. You see it connect. You see the synergy of the materials. It looks like you're really building some dope, but the engine is so good, right? That's the allure of making these quote unquote mundane tasks. Alters, you got to come to the front of the congregation. The problem I have is now
they the front. Oh no!
Only because the first Alters is special to me. It hits the right notes. It has the storyline, right? And also, you can't get all the Alters in the first game. In this game, you're doing Alters of the scientists. So it's like the physicist, geologist, the biologist, right? And there's only like 4 of them. Again, Alex Jordan, amazing job. Great. How can I say this? This is where there's going to be parts of the game early where you terraform something and they want to do a field study, right? And they'd be like, all right, we want to leave one altar in there. So you got to pick, right? One of the, and I started to form relationships. I'm like, oh, I like this one. I wanted to send one specific one I did not like. I was like, you're going to go out there, and when the sun burn you or not, you report back in your field station.
You let me know.
You let me know how that worked. I couldn't send the dude that I didn't like. It was like, oh, he didn't finish this, and the game was not clear. And it was like, I did everything. Apparently, it's a known bug. So that was first demerit. So I was like, I didn't like that. All right, cool. Alters, fine. Sent the dude that I liked out there, and without light spoiler, people age. And you're like, oh, what the hell happened? We over here cryo sleep, but you still like you 55 years old. What happened to you? All right, cool, fine. Then the thing where it starts to, they try, what a game tries to show you the hot new mechanic. They're like,
yes, my favorite.
The new joint, right? The new joint is we got these geysers, and you're going to use these things called phasers, and you're going to extract the resource, and then you're going to do chemistry 101. So now, whenever you extract this particular material, it's going to make this color. You got to put it to a hub. Bro, this joint, towards the end game, some of these chemistry-like materials that you make this, basically you're making a pipe system. Remember I told you before, it's like the telephone pole system.
Yeah.
Now they got the pipe system and the telephone pole system. And the pipe system, bro, it is mad confusing to make these elements.
Oh, no.
But here's my issue, Maddie. They lock the end game. Like, think about, for my XCOM guys, like, you do a research in the base. Okay, research that. Some of these technologies require specific elements. They'd be like, you better have chemistry element 6.0 with all the concoctions.
Okay. I was like, wondering what.
I had to watch videos and I still couldn't understand how these dudes was making it. I was like, bro, I look at the comment sections, they're like, bro, if you didn't make this video, like, I'm struggling. You got to have a phaser, extractor, a mixer. Then you got to have all these different elements, all these different colors. And then the game is very finicky with it. Like, it don't want the way, the angles of connecting some of the pipes to the it is frustrating because it's an in-game storyline advancement. There's a midpoint to it, and there's a midpoint chemical. There's an end-game chemical.
Too much. You're doing too much.
Can't finish the game. So I'm like, oh my God. So now I'm sitting there learning this thing. And then again, not that the game is bad. Like, this is the mistake they made. They sat there like, we're going to give you the most value. You love alters. We're going to give you 20 plus 25, 30 hours of alters, right? Okay, cool. From a value proposition, absolutely. You have given me that. But where you've lost a little bit of the soul is that I feel like the in-base interactions and the humor and the things that made it special seem a little rushed and are still a little lost with this. And I'm curious if this scientific story's ending is going to have that payoff that the first one had. And that's where I'm at. So I'm at the very end game trying to make said chemistry chemical. And hopefully if I get it done this week, because I'm watching video, like, bro, it's so deflating. Like, I'm just like, oh, not like this, guys. Because I was at the point, Maddie, where I was just like, I don't care about the chemical. I'm just going to try to end the game. I can't advance the story without it. Cannot advance the story. And I was like, see, this is nonsense. So that's where I'm at with it. You know, still love you. You're still my baby. I'm still, like I said, still having fun. There's still some hilarious moments. But right now, I can't recommend this over the base game. The base game is special. Sure. And this is a little too clunky and too much they're requiring as far as the hardcore guys. So that's where I'm at for it. Hopefully I should have it done, like I said, Dave. But I've got like 30 hours in this game. So that's why, excuse my recent frustration.
I'm very surprised. This was quite a plot twist. I really thought this would be another, wait, my baby did it again. And we're cooking. And, this is what I'm talking about. And Alex not getting his award. Like, I thought we were going to go down that pathway. This is a plot twist, I got to say. I didn't expect that. Sorry to hear it. Master Chief Collection is on my playlist here. We'll start with that one because we've been talking a lot of Halo. Shades of Redfall. In kind of the behavioral pattern of your boy, just a little bit of like, it's that fucking taste in my mouth. I got to get that shit out. I mean, go to this nice, fine dining Italian restaurant. Oof. Yes, I'd like some extra salt. Thank you. Just carving up my steak here. And, you got some things in your life that, like, I don't appreciate you enough. I always thought I appreciated Master Chief Collection, but dude, just even without the spite, the angst, the reactivity, the ability to fire, thank you 343 for this, the ability to fire this game up in 2026 and just play online. Got some homies together, played some Reach in 3. Just the ability to do that. Perfect. Can't ask for much more. It's beautiful, man. So grateful this game exists, that it has a player base, that 343 really stuck with it when it was broken and added multiple more games to it for free. They did a wonderful job. Just from top to bottom. There's no remaster collection like this, really. So just going back to this and just tasting that fine dining once more, I was like, yeah, it's that stuff, man. And I threw a good, like, almost 10 hours back into MCC again. And hey, you don't have to sign into a Microsoft account to access this one either. So there's also that.
That's also that.
I had to link that shit twice when I was reviewing the game. Like, I linked it once to start, and then I fired it back up. They're like, please link your account. I'm like, bro, come on now. Like, twice?
That's wild.
Ridiculous. Yeah. The other game I've been playing, it's an indie game. Here we go. Desktop Explorer.
What the hell is this?
Yeah. Yeah, Cog, it's my turn. Got this little artsy-fartsy game to tell you all. I wouldn't call it artsy-fartsy, though. I think it lacks that and it's probably why it appealed to me. Okay. So for my birthday, my brother-in-law sent me a card in the mail, and it had two $20 Steam gift cards, which was really kind of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I had them like, okay. I was reviewing things. I text him like, dude, you're awesome for this. Thank you. Like, I'm stashing these for a rainy day. When I see something, this is like my impulse buy green light. And so I'm subscribed to this channel called Noisy Pixel on YouTube. They're an outlet, and they focus on a lot of JRPGs, more niche titles, and I've really come to appreciate them because they put a lot of games on my radar. Or it's just nice to know with some of the things I enjoy, like a Trails or uh, you know, Seven Mysteries of Hanjo, a Paranormal Site. Sorry, completely got that backwards. Just these more niche franchises that here's a place that will talk about it and treat it like the big dogs.
Yeah.
They really have their pocket, and so I appreciate them. So they posted a review for this game called Desktop Explorer.
Looks wild. I'm looking at it now.
And I'm like, oh, what's this? Like, that kind of 90s web 1.0 thing. Yeah, that really appeals to me. I really like that. Like, I like old internet stuff. I'm like, hey, let me see what's going on here, right? I look at the reviews on Steam now, and I'm like, oh, overwhelmingly positive. Like, is this like a simulation style game? What is this? And I think the less you know about this one, the better. But this is a mystery game. It's like a puzzle game. It's a text adventure game. It's got some 3D elements too. It's very different. But basically, the premise is this. You have inherited a computer from your uncle, and your uncle suffers with some form of dementia, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I obviously, I talked about this on Selman's Night. I said I've had two different family members who have gone through that. I am living through that. It's very difficult, and so yeah, there's a level of like curiosity on how I want to see someone explore that through a computer too. I'm like, okay, let's see what you got. So first off, the game does a really great job at communicating to us like the idea of, hey, if Cog walked into my house, I wasn't here, he had no idea who I was, and he signed on to my computer, how far would he be able to get into my computer?
Mm-hmm.
And what would he be able to learn about me as a person, who I was, without any prior knowledge? And so as you try to uncover this mystery within the computer, it's all centered around a new program called the Desktop Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
And locked within folders that have password protection on them are files to a program called the Chronolog. And every time you get a little bit further into this file, that Chronolog updates and you get like new logs from like your uncle and what he was writing on his computer at different times. He's trying to like keep his memory intact the whole time. And there's other owners, like other users like Maxine, who you'll start going through their profile, and it's a completely different switch from gameplay feel to how you navigate and break down these puzzles. But so far, I'm at the end of Act 2, and it is a brilliant video game, dude. It really is. I mean, it's only on PC, but it captures the nostalgic aesthetic of like that Web 1.0 era, like the way there's no GPS. Like you see them looking up directions to places, and it's like a map quest kind of thing. They have a recreation of game facts that you'll use. And so it's a combination of these programs and going around different parts of the computer, uncovering files, looking at their source code to kind of solve these puzzles that this Desktop Explorer program has provided. But the question is, why is this Desktop Explorer program hiding all these things? Why does it have some level of autonomy? And I'll just say, as you get deeper into the story, it gets a little bit unsettling and a little bit dark. Actually, a lot of bit dark.
Such a bad game.
Yeah. And I didn't know that going in though. But definitely you can see like the survival horror inspiration in the 3D segments. Like you'll get to play around in this game's version of a MMO called Next Rooms, which is like a chat room feature. And it goes from this 2D, like, oh, I'm working a desktop pretty naturally, to like, oh, now I have an application open on my Desktop Explorer and I'm walking around in this 3D environment. you'll go through. Remember the screensaver where you on 95 where you'd go through like a maze with like brick wall?
Yeah, with the big walls.
That's like a whole playable segment in this game.
That's wild.
And so it's a nostalgia trip, no doubt. But since I look at a lot of Web 1.0 stuff anyway, and have been for a long while, and obviously living it too, like there's a level of, oh, it's interesting to see how someone would explore this idea and what story they would tell within that space. And I just think the brilliance of it again is the idea of like learning about someone's history through the computer, but also the kind of underlying narrative of like, what is this desktop explorer program up to? So
Mm.
I'll kind of leave it there because I think the
Oh,
less you know, the better. But
nice.
it really is a brilliant video game. Sub $20, PC only, and overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. Well worth the dive from what I've experienced thus far. I will say this: my biggest endorsement of the game, I'm not a puzzle fan. I've played games like Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward, and I've happily told people like, "Oh yeah, walk through the whole way." And I'm not like that. I try to avoid the walkthrough every step of the way. Like when I did Silent Hill, I tried to avoid the walkthrough, and that's a game that sometimes they got some tough puzzles in there, especially Silent Hill 3. I'm like, dude, who the fuck? This is tough, man. This game's puzzles are very difficult, but what I like about their puzzles is that it's all information within the computer. So it's not like a Zero Escape where
Oh, you got it.
my issue is like Uchikoshi would be like into something at that point. Like he's just in his bag. He's like, oh, morphogenetic fields really fascinate me while making this game. So I'm going to make all these riddles and puzzles about morphogenetic fields. But there's no real in-game reference point for that information. So
Got it.
unless you just happen to be like, what do you mean you're not into morphogenetic fields? What do you mean you just heard of this for the first time? You're kind of SOL. Or
Right.
what do you mean you're not good at math? I'm terrible at math, dude. God bless. So this game is a lot about like, here's all these different pieces of information within the computer and how they stitch together
Mhm.
is the tricky part. My only complaint is there's been twice now, one where I looked up a walkthrough and I was actually right. And I'm glad I
Mhm.
looked up the walkthrough because I realized, oh, sometimes you can do things just very slightly out of order
Order.
and you actually solved it. But because something didn't trigger because you did it like when I mean that in the most literal sense, like I had both programs open, I did the right thing, but because I didn't have like one program open first when I did this idea in my head,
Mhm.
it didn't trigger in the way it should have.
Got it.
And so when I looked at the walkthrough, I'm like, oh, I did it right. I just needed to open this first, then that. And there's no other puzzles. There's no puzzles in the game that trigger depending on like what program opens at what time. So it was a
Got it.
bug or an oversight, one of the
Okay.
two. And the other time it was a puzzle where I just straight up had to look it up. But
Yeah.
otherwise, it's a very solvable game. There will be points you'll just kind of sit there and kind of look at your screen like this and think for
Mhm.
a while. And so if you're not into that, I get it. But as someone who's not historically into those types of games, I would say that this one has really captured me and
Yeah.
my mind, and it's got an amazing soundtrack too. It's a really great
Nice.
game. I think it's a sleeper hit, and I think you will hear about it a lot as the year goes on from different corners of the internet. And if you get a chance, check it out. It's a
Yeah.
really good game.
Ooh, Desktop Explorer.
Shall we hop to the other end of the spectrum now?
Yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. So again, shout out to Xbox, shout out to Coalition. Got a chance to go into the Gears E Day. What is it? A multiplayer preview. So there was a few
Yeah.
sessions, right? They were offering Horde and Versus. Let's get the elephant out the room. What a lot of the Gears bros want to hear from me about.
Mm,
I think I'll go with my beloved first. I'm gonna go with the one I was dreading to jump into.
mm,
I'm gonna start with Versus first. And look, I'm just gonna show you, gonna sugarcoat it. I've never liked Gears multiplayer. I've always been the guy that can't stand it. I call it the roll around shotgun fest, that it generally devolves into, and it just was never really appealing to me. So the first thing you notice is, they give you, I think, three options. There was like a social bots mode where you could kind of get warmed up, which I promptly loaded up first to see, what the bots are, stuff, that kind of thing. Obviously you could gear up, you can play 4 people, match. They had like just standard death match, and then they had I think it's like a conquest kind of mode. So, get used to the weapons, and Gears is pretty straightforward. It's, look, you got your 4 standard weapons, and then it's like stronger weapons placed on the map, and it's really about like map control. I will say these bots are a little vicious. These
Mm.
bots are a little bit more vicious than I anticipated, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. And I'm like, all
Sure.
right, cool. So then me adding, shout out to the homie Cerebral Paul. He was with us. Shout out to my man, Good Game Kofi. He rocked out with a couple matches with us. But then I started the actual quick play. You know what I'm saying? I did not touch ranked, so my review is not on ranked. I didn't even go in there. I'm like,
I did not go in ranked either.
I
Yeah.
did not. I know my limitations, and I don't want to even deal with that level. So anyway,
Sure.
I jumped into quick play. So the first thing you're going to notice off the bat, as a person who's played Gears a lot, instinctually, you're going to have to get used to one big thing, and it is it may be controversial for some, but it is the roadie run. The roadie run, when you hold down A in past Gears game, this is traditional Gears, you get a cinematic low cut of you doing the run, right? And then boom, you get to the thing, and it's been in all Gears. The thing that I've noticed immediately, the roadie run is not there. It's kind of pushed back, and I would equivalent it to playing. I remember when I went from Destiny from console to PC, and I had
Mm.
a field of view for the first time. It gives me like a field of view peerback. Now, I personally like this change. This may be controversial, but I like it because I can actually see the environment around me, and I don't feel locked in like I'm forced just to do something in a camera. I felt the controls are always compromised in roadie run mode. Even though it looked dope. So that was the first thing. The thing that I noticed off the bat is at first I was getting bodied at the beginning. Let's call that what it is, right? But and this was the conquest mode. Like, you gotta get in there, you gotta maintain the thing, yeah, so you gotta, it's like everybody rush to point C, you gotta try to cap it, and then whoever's standing in this mode for the longest is gonna get the most points, and then once they capture it, they move on to the next part of the map, which is the next capture zone, the next capture zone. Where it started to click for me was, I was like, all right, we're getting body doing this, just running in there blindly against these superior Gears players. So what I do is I throw the smoke. So I throw the smoke in there. So we're going to smoke it out. Nobody can't see. And we're going to get in there, and then we're going to roll out shotgun or do whatever it is we do. Here's my issue. Gears fans, who I like the actual, I will say this. I will like the fact that it's about map controlling this stuff. But the fact that the shotgun is so dominant, it really takes away from it. And I wish like the shotgun was actually a weapon on the battlefield that you earn, because this is what I was happening to be, Maddie.
Okay.
Don't you feel like when you shoot your shotgun, you don't kill them, but they shoot their shotgun, they kill you instantly?
They definitely, the way they, like, I think what it is for me is I've realized people are really good at aiming when they're just like, there's no, like, not holding the left trigger.
Hip
So
fire.
their
Yes.
hip fire is crazy, bro. My hip fire is ass in this game.
My hip fire. So I'm sitting there, ADS shotgun. I know Gears fans probably laugh. You idiot, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah,
but that's muscle memory for me from other games, right? So until I started hip firing shotty, and I'm like, oh, there's an instant kill. There's an instant kill. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now this Gears, for the guys who love versus, this is why I see, because we shot my man Kofi, he plays consistent. He was like, yo, it's a learning curve, but I'm like, this is where it got fun to me, in the sense of people don't realize that on controller, that Y button is a game changer. Sliding around the map. Now using the jump to jump on, mantle on top. So what would happen is, if someone's feeling safe, they behind some little cover, but you could get your rundown on, jump on top of the structure, boom, like that. Adds a level of verticality. And then there was some areas of the map where you could slide into the crevices, and you could crawl between stuff. I was like, all right, this is cool. Again, am I the Gears multiplayer guy? No. But I will admit, as the matches went on more and more, and we started to get a little better, a little competitive, I was like, all right, let's have a little fun. I'll admit I was having a little fun. For a person who does not like, remember, I am the target demographic. They want to see me, and I don't think y'all multiplayer was that great to begin with, but I feel at least this played better. There was a fundamental change. Graphically, it looks good.
Oh, dude. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Coalition is cooking. The market board with the thing, really looks good. The design, everything look cool. This is my thing. Dev team. You need to have a mode where the other weapons can shine, outside of when you get the sniper and the boom shop on the map, right? I just want bro, let the shotgun be earned. Like everyone running around. Because I will say the game promotes team shooting in a very cool way if you do regular team shooting together. So that's all my little thing. But what was your experience with the verses before you get into the horde?
Oh, dude. I mean, I fucking love this game.
Woo!
I was really, really, really happy with this game. I mean, that's like one of the, I can't remember the last time I walked out of a preview from an Xbox game feeling that good about something. I was like, wow, they like the feel, the movement, the sound. Oh my God, the sound, bro. Oh my God. Like, they get it. It's just that simple. This is I'm not going to turn this into a Halo slugfest, but this is when a team studies the core pillars of like, let's go to Gears of War 1 and really look at like from architecture to movement to style of play, what makes Gears, and let's look at intelligent ways to evolve that, right? And so I think about how the map design works, right? I think the enemy of a Gears of War multiplayer map is when it's too open, right? Because like what you talked about, it promotes team shooting. Everything is mostly like if you're using the Lancer, it's not like you can burst fire someone across the map. You can, of course, but like with the amount of shots it takes to drop them and then finish them, it's a game about close quarter encounters. So when you have maps like Gears 4 had a few or 5 had a few where it's just like fucking blown wide open and there's just little momentary bits of cover, it's a really weird multiplayer experience there. But what they did so well is like I think of the Kelowna public market, right? Nighttime map, neon lit marketplace, and you're like sprinting through the market. And the way they organically create cover, right? There's display units, there's countertops, there's pillars, and it's all this very blocky sort of cover, right? Which is exactly what Gears of War 1 had, right? They had basically all these different rectangles in the level that you could tuck behind that you would navigate quickly and maneuver around because you're trying to route to your opponent. And the way this game's maps so far between Outpost and the market really balance a sense of openness with also how you navigate to your opponent. That combined with the new movement and the sound you make when you're doing it and shooting.
It's good.
It's fucking incredible, dude. I am just like COG. I am not only awful at the Gears multiplayer, but I've never liked it either. During the golden ages of Xbox, when everyone was playing Gears and Halo, and you had Peter Moore out there kissing babies, and there was no wrong being done by Xbox, I was enjoying Halo 3. That was my multiplayer home, like many others, right? But when it came to Gears, I was there for the campaign, baby. Horde mode, yeah, we'll fire it up, but just that multiplayer and the wall bouncing, watching y'all gravitate from one object to another without really touching it. Yeah, dude, just did not really jive with me. But this, man, look, I mean, they already submitted a comment back in June that they said they're trying to get rid of the wall canceling feature. And so I thought that was good. And I mean, I shouldn't say wall canceling, sorry, wall bouncing.
Wall bouncing.
Wall canceling is here. And like I did it myself, but in a way that I think would be considered fair. Like someone's shooting at you, so you draw yourself to cover because that's the quickest you move.
Yes.
And then you cancel it. So while you're moving, you jump and roll and you get out of fire quicker.
Right.
Like that sort of movement tech. That's what Gears is, dude, I think. And so I'll be interested to see when the pros get their hands on it and people who are way better at Gears than me get their hands on it, how that all goes. But dude, I cannot oversell to you all. If you got time for this beta, feel it. And most importantly, hear it. Hear that shit. Hear the booming footsteps. Hear the grunt of the locust. Hear the fucking slam of the body against cover. Hear and feel it all. This game sounds and looks fucking incredible, dude.
Yeah.
No, I am so glowing about this shit after playing it. I'm like, man, dude. I went from like, yeah, Gears would be a good time to like, bro, it's fucking October. Are you kidding me?
Feeding saved. That was the end of my play. I was like, damn, I want to play. Like I had the fever. And I'm glad you mentioned that whole thing about the movement because for me, the run into the slide into cover felt so good. And I'm like, bro, it's a move, like the movement feels sound. And people don't realize it's a fundamental thing to have that slide, that jump thing. You know what I'm saying? It's going to change the way it seems simple, but you're like, yo, it's so weird to see your gear jump up and down. You're like, yo, this is dope. I'm not used to this. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't feel busted. It feels
Yes.
like just it's a natural expansion of what you were already doing. You already, when you did the roadie run, you were kind of locked in a direction and going, but you were going fast. And when you slide, it's the same thing. And when you jump, you're not like leaping way out of cover. Like it's like you can feel the armor. Like you're not getting air, dude. Like you're not. But like it's natural movement expansions. The laying down while in cover.
Yeah, bro.
Oh my god, dude.
Sick.
So good.
Sick. So yeah, man, that's what I would say. That would be pretty much my wrap up on the verses. And like I said, pleasantly surprised. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
All right. I
was gonna just add, because you mentioned about the Nashers, right?
Yeah.
And like Conquest. How did you feel about when you played Team Deathmatch?
So Deathmatch for me, we did about 2 death matches. We played the majority. We say I played about 4 Conquest more. We played more Conquest than Deathmatch was fun. I mean, we had to. What we realized, yo, bro, stick together. Stop trying to be. You got to roll with the crew, because you get picked off. Now, this is where I would give a little feedback to the balance team in terms of like team shotting is everything. Right. And all I would say is, and again, maybe just because I didn't have enough experience with all the different weapon types, stuff like that, but I was hoping like the hammer burst would be a little stronger from range.
That gun always fucking sucked, dude.
Yeah, bro.
I hate the hammer burst.
It's something about that. Like, and don't get me wrong, because I've always fallen in the middle in most PvP games. Like, I'm like a pulse rifle dude. I'm a mid-range guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the sniper per se. And I don't like to always devolve into the shotgun, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. So, but I will say, like, obviously when you get, I don't know, you get that big beastie, like almost like a chain gun. Whoever controls that,
oh my god,
you find out, because this game, listen, like for those who are unfamiliar, this game they consider it like fair play start. So everyone starts off shotgun, snub pistol, lancer, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a smoke grenade, right? Yeah. So it's parts of the map. The map will show you, be like, okay, sniper rifle's going to be there. The chain gun's going to be there. Here come the hammer burst. So it really promotes map control, right? What we realize is like, bro, we got to get over there, because as soon as they get their hands on that chain gun, it's a wrap. They start mowing you. Facts. So that's where to get. And again, I get the balance part of it, kind of thing. So to your question, team shooting is dope. Stick together. But all I want is just a little bit more to deal with this shotgun, as far as like, I almost wish there was a mode where it's able to be picked up on the map for control.
That's something that they should really adopt from Halo. Like Halo, what I learned and going back to MCC, bro, I was like, damn, they really had variants for everything. Like, people love shotguns and snipers in Halo, and like they had it on. Like, you want shotguns and snipers. Like, here's a whole mode around it. But if it was like a Nasher free mode, yeah, I think that'd be very interesting. I mean, the reason I asked is because I found that I agree with you, by the way, when it comes to Conquest, like it's just king of the hill. Everyone pulls out their shotgun, runs in. Yeah, every fucking time. And this is before everyone even unlocked frags, which are also going to be thrown onto the point. So I could see that being an issue. Team Deathmatch, though, I had a ball, dude. Everyone was using everything.
Yeah.
And that was like, this feels Gears at its most ideal currently. Everyone's using everything. There's good weapon variety. I did not feel like I had to use my Nasher unless I got close quarters.
Right. Yes.
And I enjoyed that quite a bit. But yeah, definitely promoted more team shooting. But anything that like congests, like centralizes, oh man, yeah, it's all Nashers. And I don't know if there's any getting around that, but I agree with you that like saving it as a weapon pickup would be kind of nice, because then at least like one person would have to navigate, or 2 people would have to navigate into that area. And then they could control it, but you could still like team shoot them. I don't know. But dude, there were some moments I was like, oh, I pulled that up, but there were some moments, man, some people are nasty in this game.
Yo, there's some dude, I think his name was Mental. He was terrorizing us.
Oh, dude, there was some chick, Gianna, I think.
Yeah, shout out to Mental. Whoever you are, you in my session, you were bullying the hell out of I was like, oh, he's a player. He played this. So tell me, so Gianna chick was doing. She was going.
Oh my god, same exact thing, dude. She was just pulling up and just like, when I had her on my team, I'm like, let's go, let's go. Like I had like 1 or 2 matches where I was like, even Gianna can't save me, bro. Like it's just, I was like, this, there's just no hope for me right now.
Facts, no, but it feels good. The weight, running with the crew, you know what I'm saying? And I will say, like, even though probably in multiplayer doing finishers are not, it's probably not, unless they're like the last person so that you're safe when you're doing it, but it's still so satisfying. It's still so fun to get the curve storm. It's still so satisfying to use the chain gun or something. I'm like, yeah, I was talking that talk when I was doing it. When I got my kills off, I was like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I will say I had some clutch when I was able to find the stim grenade, especially in Conquest. My little thing is I learned my role. I'm not nice enough to deal with all you psychopaths. So what I'll do is I'll look at the control. All right, so my guys are in there. All right, I'm throwing the smoke so that the opposition, when they try to get in there, they can't see them and we can get the control of the spot longer, right? Then when I get the stim grenade,
support, literally.
Yeah, I'm support. So then I'll stay on the outskirts of the control zone and I'm sitting there flanking. All right, my boys at help. Throw a stim grenade. Get up, guys. All right, cool. Like I'm that, and that's gonna lean into when we talk about Horde, because I found my role specifically. But versus, I must admit, Gears fan, I have slandered you guys for a long time, and I will be lying if I did not say I had fun playing Gears multiplayer. Just some little nitpicks, little feedback. Graphically, it's amazing. Coalition is absolutely cooking. It looks great. It feels good. I'm curious to see how they evolve with the modes and the other things they got going on. But very solid start to the point where I had fun and I couldn't wait to get back into it. I'm like, damn, we only got 2 or 3 sessions. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to put more. So that was that.
It really left a strong, lasting impression for me where I was like, this might be a Gears multiplayer I find myself playing an okay amount of, which has been not the case since maybe Gears 2. You know, where like I just got bullied into that. Like, it's just, this is like a different beast, man. It's just got such a good feel, but it's still proper Gears. It's really, again, if you got the opportunity to hop in there, it's really feel it to believe it. Like it's, again, the gameplay really shows like, okay, nice. Like this is Gears is back. And, you know, it's got that desaturated look. Like, okay, Gears is back. Like, all right, gotcha. But until you feel it all in motion, how smooth it is, and combined with the sound and some of that new light movement tech that is still very Gears, but it's got those wrinkles in there that make it, I think, very approachable still without devaluing the skill ceiling that movement tech creates. It is like, I'm really eager to see what the pros feel about it, because I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted. Like this is, it got me in, it got Cog in. That, I mean, we've been fucking joking about y'all with the Nashers for like years now. This is like me getting behind a Forza game. Like this is how I feel right now.
Bro, it's
like I was all about that. I was like, oh, campaign, co-op, Dom Marcus is back. Cool. That's where I'll be. I no chance in hell Versus was gonna pull me in. But this pretty good. Pretty good.
To the point I was dreading the versus sections. I was like, all right, I gotta do it for the sake of review. But bro, fact, I was like, it was like homework. I was like, okay, I guess I gotta do it. But you said it perfectly, because we're the target demographic. They have never appealed to us, and to get us to say, all right, Gears. Okay, versus.
It
is what it is.
Huge.
We'll talk about this Horde, brother. We'll talk about this Horde.
Yeah, let's hear it. Like, how are you feeling about Horde mode? Horde Siege, specifically, right? Because we got the Horde, but then there was the Siege missions as well, right?
Yeah. So you guys like the training, then it was Blitz, then it was, so Blitz was like these very short missions, which is 1 and 2 objectives. Then it was like the Siege, right? It was a little bit lengthy, a little bit more mission variety, stuff like that. And then you had the Horde, which felt almost like a campaign in a form of a Horde mode. So let me just get this clear. Like, Horde mode overall is one of my favorite modes in Gears, right? Especially I remember when it debuted, Gears 2, shout out to Cliffy B, I'll never forget. I was like, oh my God, like Gears doing some type of tactical defense and towers, and you could put up barriers, and you know, like, and it was just wave after wave of army. And it was 5 players. And at that time, it was like a technological thing. I'm like, oh my God, 5 players in a game. Like, I was blown away by Gears 2, its debut of it. And I've always been a fan of Horde. And it's just, you know, the theme of it, enemies get stronger, you're building up your base defenses, and you're holding down the spot, right? This is a different little take on it, right? So in the beginning, I was like, let me see what they do. So you've got your, you know, your what I consider like your pre-planning type phase. You go up to the little crate inside the building, you pick your weapons. Oh, pro tip, please, UI, I don't like that I thought I could only buy like 1 or 2 type of weapons. You have to press like down, and then there's like another subset of weapons that were kind of hidden that I didn't know you could buy. I thought you had to like, yeah. So I didn't know like the sniper, and we'll get into that later. But so it starts off, and first thing you notice, again, graphically, the game looks amazing. It really, really does. It is, we started off, I forgot what map it was, huge map. The enemies spawn in, the emergency holes come, and all hell starts breaking loose. They start trying to rush the spot, doing all type of thing. And you're playing from a team perspective. I feel like every time you killed an enemy, he would drop this form of a currency. I forgot, like an energy or whatever it was. And then between the rounds of these hordes, what will happen is then you use this currency to then go back to that kind of like that safe house kind of box thing that you protected. And then you would then buy more weapons and stuff. Now, where the game got interesting to me is I thought that was going to be kind of the mode. We're going to stay here. But what was kind of dope to me, Maddie, was that it expanded. It's like, okay, we did this, defending it. Now mission 2 is leave, and we're going to go to the next rally point on the map. And and then while you're going there, remember, I'll speak for clarity. It's 16 players, but you're in a group of 4. There are other teams of 4 in this huge map that they got their own objectives going on. So it almost feels like it gave me like a scale war kind of feel. I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And you could choose to help those other guys out, even though you're doing something else, or, you know what I'm saying, fight your thing. Now, the balancing will be interesting because you seem like it is meant for 16 or the 12 or whatever that number is. And if you get caught with your 4 fighting the gods of the locusts, it could get crazy. So that's a little thing they got to figure out. The other nitpick at first that I had was that when I like the missions, you got these little side missions too that you could get divert. We had to defend some train. It was at a side. I was like, okay, this is cool. And you get extra currency, extra stuff like that. The thing that they did, all right, let's start with the thing that they did and nitpick. The thing that they did is what I've been preaching since Hive Busters. Dedicated class system style roles for the gears. So you had like your assault class, you had I forgot the other class. I went straight to medic. The chick that was the medic, she got a special ability. Each gear has their own special ability. Hers was like this stim package thing. When she you can use it and it builds up like a super, right? Then you use it, and I'll get everybody, come on, guys, get up off the ground. We getting overrun. Everybody's getting knocked down instead of going up to the melee and picking up. Bro, I was doing clutch heals, bro. Crazy dope. And then again, the nitpick though was like, damn, I like it. It's just more action than I thought versus tower defense. But what I realized is that now that we got the classes, due to this bad little UI thing that I didn't see, when you press down, like you could buy those. Each class has its own tower defense kind of thing. Like some have a turret, some have a decoy, some have. I was like, oh, there's the tower defense stuff. That was my only issue. I was like, because I'm used to, hey, let's build up the electric wire. You know what I'm saying? Let's put the caltrops. That like I was waiting for that, but what they've done is each class has their own version of that. Yes. And you just had to, it was hidden in a sub menu. That's the only thing. And when Addict showed up, I'm like, oh, there we go. Because I was like, damn, it's a dope game. But I was like, where's the horde defense part? Like, that's it. And the final part I'll say about my thing, what I really liked is that it progresses. Like, let's say it's like the horde is like a campaign. You're doing this, you're going from here to here. But the end part was kind of cool to me, Maddie. Where it's like, get to the chopper. And it became like a mini extraction. And I was like, oh, so now we got to we waiting for the joint to fly down, right? Teams of enemies, bosses, crazy, all type of locusts going down. You're like, yo, this is wild. And like, then when it lands, you could get on the turret of the helicopter.
Provide cover and fire as everyone's escaping. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, you felt for the homie that didn't make it.
Yeah. Like, they recognize it too. They're like, not everyone got out of there alive. Yeah, it's so good.
I love my boy Paul, but one time he was in the wrong spot and the helicopter landed on him. I said, it was kind of funny.
I didn't know I was like, we heal you. That's crazy.
We learned. It can't happen. Just a pro tip. It can't happen to you. But overall, just top level thoughts, man. Action packed, graphically pushing the system crazy. So much going on. Some of these locusts are tough. and it was getting a little crazy. Sometimes we were getting overrun crazy, but I really, really enjoyed it. But what was your take or Horde and your
Yeah.
experience?
I really liked it. The new take on Siege is again like the term for me has been a natural evolution of everything. It's like, okay, like we're taking Horde as we know it, and like we're now incorporating more squads, and they're doing their own missions on the map while you're doing yours. But there are these moments where you come together, and it's like, oh shit, like it's this giant beast, and it's like taking that down together and then moving to your next missions, hitting some optional objectives along the way if you want to get more weapon parts that kind of play into the game's progression system. Like I thought it was a really good step forward for this game. I will say that I was left wanting a touch because I think that it was one thing I was a little worried about. I think
Right, talk.
Space Marine 2 just ate a little off its plate, you know?
Mm.
Have you played this game at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the way it drove things with, like, melee and the hordes, like, that kinda part of the combat, I always found it weird that Gears E-Day didn't incorporate more
Yes.
melee. Felt like
Yes.
that was a natural progression that they did not do. Like, the idea of using the Lancer is not just, like, one-on-one, but, like, just carving through a bunch of the locusts, I thought would be really sick. Um, but also the way that the missions work, like, you kinda get dropped into a hub space, and you kinda just navigate through random objectives, where the operations in Space Marine 2 are like full on missions.
Yes.
And the classes feel immediately a lot more different. And so there's a level of like, I think the nostalgia and the natural evolutions and some really good fine tuned fundamentals here are doing Gears EDA some favors where I'm like, this is great. I just think that there is another part where you might have played something 2 years ago now that has done a lot of things that I wish this
Mhm.
brought in.
Okay.
That said, though, I mean, again, the siege kind of mode and how progression works and how different these weapons feel with mods attached to
Yo.
them. Was really surprised by that. Again, I thought this was going to be like, oh, 10% weapon damage, a little faster rate of fire. But dude, I put like a different burst modification on my hammerhead, and it felt like a totally different weapon. It changed to a 2 burst. It was, a lower rate of fire, but it was way more accurate. And I was using it from a distance more. I'm like, this is a similar feeling, yet totally different at the same time weapon now.
Mhm.
The armor mods, the tactical
Yes.
gear mods. So now
Yes.
I played marksman a lot. So for
Okay,
me,
okay.
I was given visibility, right? I'm one-shotting the key enemies, and then I'm throwing down my tactical gear to kind of give us environmental awareness. Like
Mhm.
what place are they attacking us from? Which is
Yes.
huge because there was like one mission we were hunkered down in what I think it was like a bank or something. I couldn't even tell what the hell this building was. It was so destroyed, but we're hunkered down there.
The
We're protecting this.
multi-level joint, right? You talk
Yes.
about, yeah, that
Yeah.
building is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was like 10 waves of holding them off, and each wave crazier than the last, and so for us, it was like, "Okay, I'm throwing on my tactical gear again. We gotta get that left door." Like, they're coming in hot from there, and, like, buying the turrets beforehand, throwing them all down. Yeah, it's just classic Gears in a lot of ways, but just those new wrinkles with missions, getting you around the map a little bit more,
Mhm.
that choice of, like, do we wanna do one extra mission and get those weapon parts? Do we wanna take that risk? Yeah,
Yes.
man, they did a good job. So I very much enjoyed what was there for Horde mode. I think I enjoyed PvP just a touch more, but
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah, Horde mode. I mean, Horde mode was, I think, as expected in a lot of ways. Which, and I say
Yeah.
that lovingly.
No, absolutely. Did you see the random events where almost like there'll be like a supply drop or drop down? Bro, there was some.
No, no, no.
Yes, they have random events. And then I was like, yo, I'm gonna make a break for I just see the supply drop. And you go, bro, some of the most powerful weapons in the game, but there'd be
Oh, I didn't see
crazy
that at
gear.
all.
There'd
No,
be
no, no.
bosses around it. And it'd be bro. I got
Oh,
some
okay.
OP stuff. And you could tell like they're leaning, they're extraction flirting, but in a dope way. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, bro,
Mm,
it was super cool. I really, really enjoyed it. And I would say, like I
mm,
said, the tactical abilities, the classic. But what you just nailed is, for me, remember, the reason why I love Destiny is you give me min-maxing mods and any type of progression. And the fact that all these guns had all these different mods and armor mods and all these things to fit a playstyle with very tangible effects. My only nitpick too is I think I know you have an ability to, as the sniper, to kind of stitch it, which was dope, right? That was very,
yeah.
we had I think Paul was one of our snipers. He would use that and be like, okay, they're coming from there.
Mm.
there is a way, from what I understand, to like tag someone, but I felt it was a little clunky, and you still got to use the left
Mm,
bumper, what they
yeah,
call it, the tack mod thing, to
yeah.
see where your friends are. I mean, that's always been classically Gears, but I just thought overall, man, yeah, like I really had a good time. There was so much random stuff going on that it was super dope. But yeah, I enjoyed myself, man. I really did.
Yeah, dude, I just not enough good things I can say about it right now. And so if the campaign delivers, I mean, this will definitely be a favorite of the year for me. I can already tell that much. Like it's just such a good feeling game. And obviously, again, I'll wait patiently to see if like anyone who plays over the multiplayer beta, like any exploits. Like I'm looking for
Yeah.
that safety net, like where I'm like,
Yes.
okay, you know, there was no wall bouncing. Everyone got to have a good time, but it was still competitive. Like
Mhm.
that's what I'm hoping for here.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
absolutely. Shout out to Gears. Shout out to, and again, shout out to the supply drops, the boss invasions, all those random
So good.
events.
Yeah.
Super dope.
Yeah, so both of those were fantastic and just eager to play more. So not too long now, but it still feels like way too long. All right, Cog, those are the games we were playing. Let's go through the rest of our news. We got two little tidbits here to go through. The first, the day has come. Ad supported game streaming. Here it is. Let's read what the Xbox Wire had to say. Today, we are starting to test an ad supported way to stream select games from your library for a limited time, available to Xbox insiders. During this test period, Xbox insiders with an Xbox account will be able to stream games they own for free with ads. Players will have 1 hour session limits across supported devices and regions. And here's what you can expect: one, ads will play before sessions begin. Two, the core game experience is unchanged. Three, this is optional. Players can choose other ways to play at any time. For many players, the device they already own now allows them to stream games with Xbox. Cloud can also help Xbox One owners play newer games built for Xbox Series X and S without needing to purchase new hardware right away. That can be especially meaningful in places where consoles are harder to find and less affordable, giving players another way to access great games on devices they already have. Advertising has existed in gaming for decades, from in-game placements to I fucking missed this part last time. Wait, what? Wait, they actually wrote this? From
Uh-huh.
in-game placements to free-to-play models. But it hasn't always been built with the player in mind. When done well, advertising can help lower the cost of access. It creates another way for players to get into games without an upfront streaming purchase and expands audiences through new ways to play. For brands, this only works if showing up here adds to the experience, not takes away from it. This is the part that I read where I was like, okay. Given that, we want to be clear about how we'll approach ad supported services across Xbox. One, we start with the player. Ads should create value. How do you feel about that, Cog? You feel they started with you in mind here?
Yeah, they would think about me with the Budweiser. You know about that?
Yeah, yeah. Get your drink on, man. This is a very specifically targeted ad for
Yes,
you.
sir.
Two, we do not interrupt the flow of gameplay. Okay, fair enough. Three, we hold ads to the same quality bar as our content. Okay. Okay. We're clear about what's advertising. And five, we'll make sure ads fit what the players expect on each platform. And we'll learn from this test and continue to improve it based on how players use it and what they tell us. And our goal is simple: give people more affordable ways to play. So, this is for you, Cog. Gaming is so expensive. Country club habits are happening now. Here's an easy entry free way: watch a little ad, play your game. It's an hour. What do you make of this? I feel like there's an easy way to diffuse this conversation. There's also a really easy way to ignite it. So, how are we feeling?
I get it. This is the hot button topic. The day has arrived, right? We are here with ads, so to speak, at gaming. And look, let's just get off the pot. I'm not the target demographic for this. This is
Sure.
clearly for someone who, in my opinion, who is they are looking to get into the ecosystem, that either from another country, or they don't have a console, so they're looking at ways to try to make this more affordable. But I think ultimately this is a precursor to Game Pass. That's my prediction. This is a precursor to them wanting more people. They know the Rampocalypse is upon us, and they know that people do not have bread like that. So why not give them an option to say, hey, you can, access this game through cloud streaming as well as patch generation. We're in this realm of like Xbox One users still there, series console user. And also, let's be real, when Helix comes out and PS6 comes out, these companies know the adoption rate isn't going to be as big as how it was with previous generation based on the price of these consoles due to apocalypse. So this is what this is. The question for them is going to be, one, when you talk ads, you're talking targeted, think cookies. Think about when you surf a site, right? What are these ads going to be targeting? What style of ad placement is going to be there? That's going to be, under investigation, right? People are going to be like, yo, what is it? Now, granted, a lot of people are going to be like, Cog, shut up. It's free, bro. Like, it's not even for you. It's just for the people who don't got it. Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, still, as far as the implementation, they're going to be under a lot of scrutiny. And then also my curiosity is the interrupt feature. So how does it work? Like, you're in 1 hour and you're about to fight the boss in Kingdom Hearts. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's that? Does it have that grace at the end? And then it's like, okay, cool. Like, do you get a prompt, a warning? It's just a fun thing that I need to have answers to. I would love to know how this is implemented. How do they cut you off? Like, is it EA Play? You know how you do EA Play trial? And then it's like, yo, bro, got 2 more hours out of that 10 hours. You know what I'm saying? Let you know. I'm very curious on the implementation. Look, this is not for me. But if they could somehow, I'm making up a fictional country, in Argentina, however, right? They don't buy consoles over there, right? And this is a way for these users to now try a free-to-play version of their ecosystem. They're going to want to experiment. And I honestly think it's this, Maddie. I think it's the last leg for cloud. Not in the sense that cloud is going away, but we have to admit cloud is not as big as they predicted it for them to be, as far as this adoption rate, as far as like getting more people to utilize this service in the way that is from this future-proof kind of thing. And I think this is a way of them trying to leverage it as a last-ditch thing. I think this is Matthew Ball and team sitting there trying to say, okay, because Jet Alpha, like, they're not paying. They're not going to buy a console. They're not going to buy a Helix, right? But if we could get the free-to-play bros to be like, you know what, just try it. Just see. And I think that's the last ditch play of it, as well as a precursor to a potential ad placed, Game Pass tier. But everything else is just corporate speak.
Yeah, we're doing this for you.
Yeah, we're doing this for you. Like, that's corporate speak.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, you can excuse this thing away and everything like that. It's always been a firm no for me, man. It's just a non-starter. Like, nope, we can't do this. Like, we just, this just is not, I don't even know what conceivable foot in the door this is. And to me, it's not about what it's starting as, it's about what it grows into. You can look at this on its own little isolated bubble and be like, oh, it's always 1 hour. It's always one ad. It's always well supported. It's always well intended. It's a lot of the same corporate language we got when Xbox showed you and I and a bunch of other people behind the scenes what they were doing with Copilot for gaming. They're like, we're listening to you. By the way, we're taking lots of feedback. And it wasn't until like Osher came in, it was just like, kill it. Like, people don't like this. Kill it. But before that, it was all like, we hear you. We're just not going to get rid of it, even though you want it gone. So same kind of language here of like, we start with the player, ad should create value. That is the most fucking contradictory opening line of the kind of moral rule set you want to follow with this. We start with the player, ads should not exist. That is the fucking sentence. And again, I know people are going to be like, oh man, come on. It's just like one thing. But again, dude, it's about what it turns into. Don't open the door on it. Don't. This is just not great to me. I just don't like what it turns into, because then it's like, oh, it's a part of our service. It's a part of Game Pass. It's part of now we're giving you 10 hours. And now because we're giving more tiers, ads will be put in the middle. I'm telling you, bro.
Oh, you think that's where this is going?
They will, when the sessions get longer, they're not going to, when you start to pay for something or whatever it may be, ads will get longer. This is a lot like GeForce Now, and a lot of people are like, well, it's just that. And I'm like, I think that fucking blows too. Dude. Like, there's a sanctity to the art. Okay. And pardon me for holding the industry to that standard. Like, that is all it is. I don't care if, oh, well, there's this over here. who the fuck talks about GeForce now? And even if y'all are using it and whatever, I'm wrong about that. Point being is that I don't think this is a solution to our cost issue in video games.
Oh,
This
okay.
continues to be the delicate dance we do around video game budgets. And
Mhm.
until we figure out video game budgets, everything from Project Latitude to this is, I think, a Phil Spencer thing, by the way, because
Mhm.
you and I heard about this
Yeah,
years
we heard about
ago.
this for a minute.
And they were like, yo, what do you guys think about ads? We're like, fuck no.
Mhm.
Fucking kidding me? So this has been felt out for years. And here we are now. So I don't know, man. Just again, everything in the way we're trying to make gaming more accessible, I think will always come down to the price of which the game is made at, which then
Mhm.
dictates the price it is sold at and how many copies it needs to sell at said price.
Alright, alright,
It is unchanging.
alright.
So again, a lot of people think I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here, whatever. I just do not. I do not accept ads in any form on a gaming platform, even
Mhm.
if it is playing for free, by the way.
Okay.
This is not like give me the game for free. Although, hey, that, trials and demos, that's like we're basically evolving it into is like, why do a demo? Just let them stream it for free here and
Mhm.
we'll get a little ad revenue.
Okay.
Like, I just am not a fan. So I'll leave it there. Nothing else for me to really say on the matter.
Question.
Please.
What about I understand your point about budgets, and that is fair, right? You know, you're like, hey, the budgets are the real elephant in the room. But how do you deal with Rampocalypse with $1,000 consoles, where a
Yeah.
generation of
I don't
gamers
have a solution.
all right, see, that's
Yeah.
what I'm gonna come at you because people gonna say, corporate gonna say, like, bro, they're not gonna buy these consoles. They're not. And they're looking at a group of gamers that we just clowned in the last segment. We're like, these guys are growing up on Fortnite and Roblox. And you know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, bro, we're not paying.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that, to your point, it gets slippery. Like you said, when you let it in, right?
Mhm.
Where else does it go? I think that is fair. There's no, I'm not going to push back on that
Yeah.
because, yeah, that's us trusting that you're going to always do the honorable thing. And I know that's your trepidation. And I think that's fair because you have to hold people accountable because it's just this that turns into that. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. That's all I think. The only thing I'm looking at is a way that they're knowing, in my opinion, both companies, that they are these people are not going to have the same adoption rates from PS5 to PS6, from series consoles to Helix, the way they had from 3 to 4, and from Xbox One to Series. And I think they're trying to figure out and leverage that, but it's going to be on them. They're gonna have,
Yeah.
they're going to if there's if there's any funny business. And it's
Uh,
like, Whopper, hey now Whopper. Like it's gonna
yeah.
it's gonna get exemplified for sure. But we'll see. It's not for me. I'm not the target demographic at
Yeah.
all. But I see what
I guess
mhm,
to your point
mhm,
about Rampocalypse, I think my only response when I think about it would just be like, is this a solution then?
mm.
Do you view this as a potential, not to like bounce the question to
Yeah,
you, but
for
do
sure.
you view this as like a potential solution? Like, am I
I,
hard on this
the,
when like it's gonna
I,
be a solution?
only reason why I view it as a solution is because the elephant in the room is nobody wants to pay. Like these kids, they will stay on Fortnite all day. Like how do you tell that guy, yo, bro, here's Expedition 33. This is gaming.
Hmm.
Nah, man, the new skin in the Fortnite. The only way you convince a dude, and I hate to say it, like King is gonna use the word. I'm not gonna do the word he uses, the brokies and all that. But the only way you get that dude is like, bro, shut up. It's free. Try it. That's
Yeah.
the only way you gonna talk to that kid. He's not $1,000 for that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what these kids, they have no proof of concept, in my opinion, of what greatness that we've experienced. And it's like, you guys are thinking that's cool, that's fun, but that ain't gaming all the way. That's one aspect of gaming. And that's all I'm hoping for with this. But again, it's about trusting, to your point, the steward. And a lot of people
Yeah.
have distrust. And I get that. And I can't fight that part back from you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think if gaming goes back to a cheaper sort of pocket eventually, that growth can return in the way that you can bring in those new generations. But this is why things like game sharing is really important too, because yeah, there is going to be a gap in time here, clear as day, where these consoles not be readily available. And what it feels like is more an excuse to accelerate shitty practices and normalize them in a time under the guise of affordability rather than actually allowing consistently affordable options to persist. PlayStation, maybe Xbox. So
I get you.
that's kind of where I stand on it. But yeah, there's no real circumnavigating this outside of just trying to dedicate what Xbox is doing, time and effort, into sustaining the core base, because they're like, hey, a lot of our sales are going to be on Series X and S. It's like Helix isn't going to sell much better, at least for the start of that generation, you know? So it's not a position I envy. There's no clean solution. There's, as I've always said, no heroes in that fight. But I feel like that's all the more reason to target the pain points that do exist that you can do something about. Game scale, budgets, timelines, that sort of thing, which is what I thought Phil's initiative really ignored. And I get why, because with Game Pass tied into it all, it was trying to sustain so many other studios. Yeah, man, with things like Humble Bundle, sales, Game Pass, like I feel like little Timmy could have got Expedition right there on Game Pass.
You know, spend that 500. That's excuse me, that's 700. It's crazy out in these streets, man.
Time to bring back handheld gaming. Good old 8-bit, 16-bit action. $200.
I love that stuff. I love that
man.
stuff.
I think it's just time. I think it's time. I think the grand reset has finally arrived, and someone's got to have the balls and the money to be like, we're just gonna go back to the essence. And we're gonna make a platform that supports games that can be made by a group of like 10 people within like 8 months, and they can sell it here. Just bring it all back.
Bro, you got more faith than me. I think these
can't give up.
Once they put the cost on us, it is like, yeah, we're not subsidizing nothing. So everything.
Did you see what Jez said?
What did Jez say?
Apparently, he said that with the new price hike planned for August, they're still eating 150, and they're jumping the price again. If that's true, that's fucking absurd.
Bro, it's insane. Again, this is the country club gaming era, and I'm just like, who is this for? And it's like, to me, again, not that the ads is the savior for gaming. I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm definitely not there.
No. I don't think you're saying that to be clear.
No, just be clear for any. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they're looking at the demographic age that is not adopted, that younger gen, and they're looking at countries that, let's be honest, we're complaining. Think about how much that series console costs in Canada.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's us complaining. So like, there's countries that's like, bro, that's not even a thought to have a console. Like, hell no. And I think that's what this is targeting, but it's going to be, the implementation. And again, to me, the only way it can kind of work outside of this thought experiment is that Game Pass is got to be the way where you have this curated free version, right? Where it's just like specific games on it. I don't know. I'm just making this stuff up. Gears 1, Fable, whatever, right? And it's like those dudes get an hour, and the hope is like you gotta hustle them, you gotta drug deal them. Like, hey, bro, you like that? Yeah, taste of that. All right, cool. You gotta come back next week. Just pay $5. You can get, I think that's where they're going with it, if according to my prediction. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Time will tell. I'll be here one day receding back to, where the hell is it? Like my PS2 and just this sort of shit, man. My days clearly are numbered. This industry.
Poor man.
Trying to push this old man out.
They try to push my boy. They try to push the physical bro out. They try to throw ads on my boy. They killing my boy right now. I feel you.
At least I got Fallout. This is why AA games at indie, man. I'm just trying to throw more energy and attention into that, actively going back to my backlog in meaningful ways like MCC, Desktop Explorer. I'm like, yeah, just like COG is so inspiring, right? The heart wants what the heart wants, but also just like, this is a man who's made a career just spending the time how he wants to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I do the same thing, but also there have been years and months where it's like, oh man, I played Dragon Age Veilguard and I haven't played the Witcher 3 DLC. That's pretty shit, man. Like, yeah. I gotta right these wrongs. So
I appreciate
you. All the more reason to just enjoy what you can while you can, ladies and gentlemen.
Facts.
Last topic here. Fable released a bit of a snag, COG. Bit of a snag depending on who you ask. So God of War Laufey, it has picked its release date, and it is February 16th. That is one day before the early access begins for Fable, which full release is a week later. This really got Jez Corden a bit upset. He posted an article titled, PlayStation makes a mockery of Xbox's multi-plat push by dropping God of War one day before Fable. Microsoft is helping advertise the fact that PS5 has more content. It's a great read. This stretch here is what kind of I wanted to bring the topic in. It says Microsoft has already committed brand suicide by putting Xbox icon Halo onto PlayStation 5 this past month. Although I wouldn't exactly be shocked if subsequent Halo titles end up skipping PS5 moving forward. The same cannot be said for the next Fable, though, which sources suggest has run, quote, uncomfortably, unquote, beyond budget. Microsoft previously noted that any games previously announced as multi-platform would continue to be, and that includes Fable. Rather than use Fable as Xbox's own answer to PlayStation's high-quality exclusive titles, Microsoft is instead co-shipping on PS5 day and date in February 27, and now it is revealed that it'll go head-to-head with a massive exclusive by Sony. And obviously the assumption is that between things like Game Pass, God of War, Laufey existing on PS5, that this is going to chew into the sales of Fable. I don't have two minds in this, Cog. One is like, let's have some trust in our boy here, man. I think Fable's got that dog in him, man. Like, I think Fable can do it. I do. I think God of War is going to do really well, and I think those PS5 sales might be a little chewed. But I do think the PC community will make up the difference. That said, though, there is a little worry. Should Fable dodge again? People were starting to say that, man.
Oh,
like,
should they move? Oh, release it, push the album back?
Yeah. Like, move the date, maybe. Move the date. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, so there's two facets of the conversation. One, Cog, you worried about the date? Two, what do you make of this kind of head-to-head competition? Because I'm like, this is competition, but I feel like there's a lack of faith all of a sudden in Fable because I think we're all used to a certain outcome. And I'm thinking, I mean, look, I'm coming from the angle of someone who's not interested in Laufey at all. I'm like, all right, like, cool. Right. But for those who are very invested in that ecosystem and looking forward to God of War, it's a big deal. Right. It's like, oh, one day before that early access for Fable, are people really going to get Fable and God of War if they're a week apart, even in a best case scenario? So what do you make of all of this? Is this as big of a snag as some of the community had made it out to be when the news dropped about God of War?
It's a good thought exercise. I like this. I completely missed this. I'm glad you brought this to my attention. Let's be clear, right? Laufey is what day and when is it's around the same early access part as Fable.
Yeah,
right?
Early access for Fable begins the 17th. God of War Laufey is the 16th. Fable releases in full on the 23rd of
23rd, right? So technically it's not head to head, but it's right at proximity, but it's right head to head with the early release, which they would try to get those buying customers on Xbox.
Yeah, the FOMO sale.
FOMO right? Bros, right? So I'm with you on that. So here's the thing. It's a good matchup. I'm with you. I feel, and maybe it is my bias towards what I've seen so far, but I feel Fable looks like they're stronger, more anticipating it. I don't want to disrespect Luffy because God of War has a tremendous following, right? But it also is on one platform. To Jez's point, though, PlayStation's not playing fair because PlayStation, remember, let me tell you why. Like, remember, this is multi-platform Xbox decision of Fable being on that platform. Yeah. So generally what you do is you respect your platform and publisher relationships and you move things around so that there's not too much of a conflict for the most part, right? You want things to succeed, being that it's going to be on your platform. They don't seem to be doing any favor for
they
Fable.
Know where both are going, right? They're going back.
Exactly. So that's what's giving me super competitive energy. Like, hey, we want our baby to succeed. We're putting Laufey out there. We don't care what you doing. That's PlayStation going back to you're the ops energy. Like they going to Steam. You're the ops. Xbox, that's cool that you were playing Kumbaya. We ain't respect that. We thank you for your services. They were just hoping them to lay down and just give me your games, please, so we can get you up out of here. Let's just call it what it is from a competitive ops standpoint. I know it's very fanboy charged up, but that's just how competition is when it comes to competing corporations. Okay, now the decision as far as I'm not worried, surprisingly. Like, only because of the fact that it's a multi-platform release and the fact that I just feel like this is what I feel about Fable. Fable is one of those games where if they execute it and you can do everything you want to do, right? You can buy up the town. you can be a straight renegade dirtball. Then Romance Bros, we lit. We get to do whatever we want with the town. You know? We get to have multiple like if you look at the sheer possibilities of what a Fable game is, I think it, in my opinion, has a broad appeal. Now we got to talk about the elephant in the room, Manny. And the elephant in the room, Law Bros, there's controversy. And I'm not going to get into the rage bait stuff. But we have
controversy beyond that, though. Yeah.
Yes. Little bit. We have to. There's a lot of people that's like, bro, Kratos, though. You know what I mean? Like they don't like the God of War name associated with this. And we have to look, we got to admit it still has some factor. I don't agree with all the arguments about it, but there are some legitimate arguments for fan of the series that's like, yo, bro, like, I don't know if I necessarily signed up for this particular take or version. And to the point where I think just more recently, PlayStation made a statement stating that Kratos will be in the next one. So the fact that PlayStation has put out that statement already to kind of say, to assure the God of War faithful that, yo, bro, like, you know, we coming back to you. Like, we wanted to get this story because this is a story. Because if you play God of War, what's super dope is the way Luffy starts. It's kind of how God of War, you know what I'm saying, started. Like, they continuing from that initial scene. Not too much of a spoiler, you know what I'm saying, of her transcending, right? You're like, oh, okay, cool. But there is a lot of pushback, like, bro, some of the hardcore, like, we don't like this direction. You know what I'm saying? So that's a fair thing. So they got controversy, and it's a multiplayer. I'm not worried. I know where I'm at. I'm on Fable day one. It's just a matter of they got to execute, and it'll be interesting to see, you know, how the numbers do and see what's going on. But it's up to Playground to knock it out the park. And I'm just hoping they knock it out from a performance standpoint. And obviously, we're going to get a demo soon and stuff like that. But yeah, Jez is right. PlayStation is definitely treating up the ops. But I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping just yet. If you would have said, I'm going to tell you who I would tripping. Yeah. You know who I would have been scared? If you told me Final Fantasy VII Revelations is there. Because I think they flirting around proximity. There's a couple of names, like any of them big Capcom joints, or like, then it's like, all right, it's getting a little crazy. It ain't GTA level, but it's getting a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the date either. Like, you know, I do have lingering concerns. Like, you have Forza Horizon, which in the time that they spent developing Fable has risen to the top of the mountain, and it's extremely successful and profitable. You have to wonder in this new era of Asha Sharma cuts what a high performing Forza Horizon versus you spent how long on Fable and you sold how many copies looks like.
Good point.
I don't know if it's a situation where like one team up, like they're from the same team, to be clear, but there is a Forza team and there is a Fable team. And I don't know if it's entirely clear to us that one upholds the other, or if it's kind of like what we saw a little bit with Bethesda, where it's like, yeah, you're going to wind down some of that 76 stuff. You're going to wind down some of that. Like, you're not really an RPG developer, we've learned. You spent way too long on this, right? I'm saying, like, this is a possibility. I don't see any worry signs for Fable, for me at least. I'm very excited. I thought that combat showing they had looked really good. Like, I'm very, very much looking forward to Fable. But yeah, I think with God of War being there, if it's going to hemorrhage their PS5 sales, and, you know, part of the push to go multi-plat was like, I mean, remember, like, Forza was timed exclusive.
Yeah.
Fable was the one they're like, we need to go multi-plat day one because they've spent so much money on that. Like, Jess's reveal of uncomfortably over budget. If you know, we've been talking about this game since 2017, 2018. It makes complete sense that this is more than uncomfortably over budget, if that was the actual report, right? Like, beyond uncomfortable. It would not surprise me at all, the amount of money they poured into this. But I think even if they wanted to run, they really can't, dude. Like, it's been time. The only reason it's not coming out this year is because of GTA.
Facts.
Otherwise, it would be here.
I agree.
And again, I don't view, not only genre wise, but just like, I could see people being the zeitgeist. You know, could I be wrong by the time it releases? Sure. But I could see Fable being the one that, like, you know, Xbox actually has a game for once that I could see being like the top of the conversation for a month, you know, with everything else coming out.
Yeah.
It's not a situation like a Persona 4 revival where it's for its own specific JRPG community. Like, I could see this being the mainstream game of the month. So, you know, we'll see if it continues to deliver for a lot of people in the way it has. I mean, I think that'll only add to it. But
Yeah.
we'll see as the the conversation can always change in a single trailer, right? Can always
Absolutely.
change in a single trailer. So I'm not saying that to protect myself, but like right now, genuinely, I got my faith in Fable. Like, I
Yeah.
don't, you know, I for those who want to play God of War, you know, I don't blame you. And for those who are going to try to play both, best of luck. I
Yeah.
feel a little blessed when I saw that. I was like, good thing I don't care.
Yeah,
I really like.
yeah.
I really felt lucky. I'm like, yeah, skipping Ragnarok is a long-term high IQ play that is now paying out for me because now I don't feel the pressure to jump on these two games right on top of each other.
Yeah,
It's very nice.
no, it's fun. Obviously, we definitely prefer, you know, similar type games and stuff like that. And then when everyone talks about what other people consider the zeitgeist, but we got our eye on this one particularly, we're like, hey, we're fine. The key is going to be for the PlayStation user, right? How tempted are they of Fable? You know, particularly like how excited are they? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting to see how the splits will work out on PlayStation from that
Yeah.
standpoint. And then last thing I'll say is you made a good point in reference to Asha's assessment. I'm kind of bracing myself also for Playground as well as Coalition in terms of the
Mm.
1,600 that still have to be laid off.
Then they
And
gotta gear back up, right? Kind of like id a little bit. Like you
exactly.
shift now. We need all of you.
Because of the fact this game took that long also, right?
Yeah.
Forza is one thing, but Fable has been a long development. So I'm very curious. I wouldn't be surprised. I know it's sacrilegious to say, especially if the game does like a high 80 or 90 meta type of thing, you know, to see that kind of thing. But I there's going to be cuts somewhere. And I'm very
Yeah.
curious about, you know, the development cycle, especially look, all games go uncomfortably over budget for the most part, for sure. But, you know, they've got a lot of faith on this release. And the fact that they didn't pull the multi-plat, or at least they felt you know, they were going to honor existing arrangements for it being PlayStation is telling to me. So, because I think if it was up to her, maybe she would have wanted to do it, but maybe the finances dictate, hey, we got to kind of get that back on that one, bro.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, it's I definitely feel like with the cuts that she's been doing, yeah, if they're gonna like hit a reset button generally across their teams, like, you know, if you've been working on this for a while, it's like, do we need this like specific person working on UI if the games have shipped and there's nothing left for you to do? We're not really prototyping anything. Like, I think Xbox is getting back to a lot of how like we really started. I mean, it's been like that for a while. Where early 2010s game development story started to come out where it's like scale up, ship, fire everyone. And I mean, look,
Yes.
if, if there's, I'm not saying it like it's the right thing, but
Yeah.
Battlefield 6, like
Yeah.
shipped, dominated. EA came in and they're like, we're making cuts. It's like
Yeah.
they made so much money and they're like, we're making cuts. We need to
Bro.
just this is inefficient. This cannot stand. We beat Call of Duty. This is unacceptable. We need to make cuts.
Did you see
That's
it?
the ridiculousness.
That's the
They're like,
ridiculous of the industry,
yeah,
bro. You saw Andrew
that.
Wilson's the report on his bonus. How it went.
Oh yes, yeah. Well earned bonus. Wouldn't you agree, Cog? I think he worked extremely hard for that. And like, I think I saw a stat: 5 Nintendo executives combined. I think that's fair. No,
That's wild. That's the industry. That's the disparity in this industry.
No, that's a piece of shit at work, bro.
Yeah, it's awful.
That's
It's
just like
awful.
that's a man who thinks for himself.
It's just like, I mean, I wouldn't even want that out there. You know what I'm saying? I would.
Yeah,
Bro,
that's
I
what I'm
was like,
saying, bro.
bro,
Like,
I
keep it
wouldn't even
yourself,
know.
man.
If I was him, I would. Nobody's supposed to know
Yeah.
that. Like,
An ungodly amount of money.
yeah, bro. And again,
Ungodly amount of money.
the actual creators are not eating off this plate, and it's disturbing.
Yeah, 100%. So, Playground team, we got our confidence in you. Don't worry.
Yes.
Go knock out Lao Fei. Go feel the console wars. Go do it.
I did.
All right, Cog, it's time to wrap this thing up. Hashtag for the week. What are we feeling? Cog?
I like the cog. I like the cog DD. I like the gears.
Yeah.
I was in the gears mode, man. I was so excited to talk about it.
Yeah, same. All right, we'll do DD Cog.
Yes.
Y'all let us know your thoughts on Twitter. I'm at G27status. Cog is at Lord Cognito. You tag us over there or use the comments down below. Let us know your thoughts on the episode. Lord Cognito, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Another Realm of the Dukes complete, a banger, a lot of fun, a lot of games, a lot of things to discuss, man. Always fun, man. Excited. Can't wait to see what happens next week.
I know. Hey, it's been a fun week of playing Xbox classics, right? We're talking a lot of Halo, we're talking a lot of Gears. We never got to do a 360 podcast, right? So here we are now. It's good old days. Pretty fun conversation. I just wish the conversation for Halo was a little better.
I know. I just,
can you imagine? Like, could you imagine the way our chest would be out right now? Like,
if Halo was back and popping,
we're like, yo, and Gears, like, watch out, dude.
What?
Can't get everything. Can't get everything.
Gears, they hold up their end of the bargain so far.
Yeah, 100%. Coalish is doing their part. We
Fries,
appreciate you.
Oh, they doing their thing. Fries.
Yeah. Fries are doing their thing.
I got me a large size fries right now, bro.
That's so funny you put it like that, because you know what it kind of reminds me of? Have you ever gotten like a burger from Tavern or something like that? It's just a normal burger. It's like, fine, it's okay. Like, that's where Halo's at. And then there's these crispy, beautifully seasoned, crunchy golden fries. You're like, oh my God.
Woo!
And you're like, and you start dipping those into the ketchup and you finish the fries first. That's the type of meal we're having.
Yo, Coalition fries is lit right now. So.
Yeah, 100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. We'll be back next week for episode 292 of Defining Duke. Until then, stay frosty, and we'll catch you then. Peace out.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.